start by introducing my fellow AA members. And I'll start, I'm just waiting for the video behind us so that you get to see us. This is the AA from 2020 to next year, March. Some of us will be leaving you, and some of us will stay with you for the next 5 years. Now, at this point, I'm supposed to tell a joke, no? I need to break the ice, and I also hear my... Okay. You want to... Oh, hello, hello. I'm just waiting for somebody to flag me that we're back online. I think that's always going to be one of those things. Because it was going to be a very long joke. I'm not good at telling jokes. Oh, there we go. All right. I will begin, or I'll continue with introducing my fellow board members to you. And we'll start for my total left top corner, Mr. Steven de Vries, who's the chairperson of the AA, who unfortunately is not able to be with us today on account of a personal matter. But our deputy chairperson, Mr. Wiseman Dinwa, will give the chairman's address. And maybe for the people in the room, I'd like Mr. Dinwa just to stand up. I just want to introduce the acting chairperson for today. Chairman de Vries. The next person that you will see on your screen is Ms. Alice Caranja, who unfortunately also is not with us here today, but she is online. Thank you. She's from the Think Foundation. Andrew Madella, also not with us today, but online. He's from the Disabled People of South Africa. And that's me, Julian Zimande. I represented the Association of Triple BE professionals. Miss Jackie Ford, Federation of African Professional Staffing Organizations, also online. Present in the room is Miss Nokolo Gogo, Public Relations Institute of Southern Africa. Please, if you could stand up, just for the people in the room. Ms. Gogo is with us today. Mr. Kevin Cowley, Construction Engineering Association of South Africa, also with us online. Nomfundo Mngoi, South African Funeral Practitioners Association, also with us online. native from KZN, so you can be very proud of that. A fellow native of KZN, Kumaran Govender, he's with us today, Employers Association, Organization for Hairdresser, Cosmetology and Beauty. Please introduce yourself to the room. It's right in the corner. As I say, our acting chairperson was Mandinwa Hotel, Liquor, Catering, Commercial and Allied Workers Union, Hotelica, with us today. Patricia Setola, Hotel, Liquor, Catering, Commercial and Allied Workers Union, also online with us. Asif Yatam, United Association of South Africa, also online. Ms. Rendani Dlamini, South African Transport and Allied Workers Union. She's with us today, and she's going to be my co-program director. Please stand up. Mr. Shadrach Ndlovu, am I allowed to make it Zulu-size it? A United Association of Southern Africa, with us today, and give you the vote of thanks and closing remarks. Temba Msweni, not here with us today, South African Transport and Allied Workers Union, online. And that, thank you. Okay, and that are our board members. Thank you very much. We just wanted you to also have a picture, and for the people online, of course. Then with us here is the company secretariat and staff. Philip, please, could you rise? We'd like to see you, and thank you for the support that you've given this accounting authority for the years. And your support staff, if they could also just rise up, the ones who are present, who are always making sure that we arrive on time. Thank you. Then I'd like to introduce the executives, if I may. Of course, as protocol will dictate, I'll start with our acting chief executive officer, Andile, Mr. Andile Sipengane, with us here today. Our chief financial officer, please rise, Mr. Matsebe. Ms. Motla, could you please rise as well? Executive Manager, Strategy and Planning. Ms. Lizo Kotzlich, Executive Manager, Core Business. And then with us today, Mr. Kaya Blai. I know he was with us, but just a round of applause. He'll be joining us soon. He's at the back. At the back, from the CEO's office. Thank you for joining us. I hope I've all executive. If I have forgotten you, I'm sorry, but I'm just scanning the room, and everybody is here with us. And of course, our support staff, from marketing managers to all the senior managers. And I've seen various chamber managers who are also present here for you today. So I'd like to acknowledge them in that manner. We are then also joined by and a very important person to mention, our audit committee chairperson, Mr. Rabutata. Could you please rise up and be acknowledged? He's going to present the report of the Auditor General in a few minutes' time. We always started a little bit late, but it is 11:15, and I do believe that we have a quorum as present, and therefore, officially, Mr. Philip Kwame, can I open the meeting?
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you for that. As you noticed, again, this year we have opted for a hybrid format, and therefore I again want to give a very special welcome to all the people at home joining us online. Just a round of applause, because they've been waiting for a while. So in a moment, we will hear from our acting chairperson, but first I would want to share some brief reflections on the current operating environment. And as you might know, of course, South Africa officially has a government of national unity, and so was our board. And a new cabinet, and our previous minister, Blaine Zamande, is currently Minister of Science and Technology and Innovation. But we are pleased to now serve under Ms. Ngabane as Minister of Higher Education. So there's been a slight change, but everything stays the same, and we're most honored to serve under a lady. We meet in what continues to be a very uncertain times. The war in Ukraine is still ongoing, and the war in Gaza, perpetuated by the State of Israel against the people of Palestine, is having tragic consequences. But we also must not forget our fellow Africans in South Sudan and the DRC. And then we must also keep a watchful eye on what's currently happening in our neighboring state of Mozambique. All over the world, the countries are in flux, people are up in arms, businesses and households are dealing with energy shortages, high prices, market volatility, supply chain disruptions, and widespread inflation. And this played a huge role in Mr. Trump winning convincingly during the elections in the United States by a historical landslide. Meanwhile, for us in our country, all this has added to the triple challenges that we faced: poverty, inequality, and a huge number of unemployment. We dealt a little bit with load shedding, but in Joburg, I don't know if it's the same in Durban, we have something called load reduction. And then we face some water shedding here and there. And of course, all of us need to be aware of the huge climate change that is impacting KZN, but impacting the whole country. But I hear yesterday it was quite windy in Durban, which is probably also a new thing. I stay sometimes in the beautiful city of Pretoria, and our jacarandas were not fully in bloom, and we had to wait for a long time for rain, and then rain did come. So climate change is another one. But under all these worrying economic climate, our economic growth, as measured by GDP, paints a blank picture for the country, and indeed for the rest of the world. The South African economy has practically stagnated. Unemployment rates continue to steadily climb up. But notwithstanding these challenges, the services sector remains the backbone of South African economy in terms of GDP growth and job creation. So we can give ourselves a round of applause for that. The sector remains resilient in terms of growth, as measured by all these indicators that I just mentioned. And in addition, the sector continues to notice a steady increase in numbers of new businesses being registered. And I'd like to give thanks to all our skills development providers who specifically also emphasize on entrepreneurship. Thank you for that. And the numbers of our employers belonging to the services sector actually increased from 200,000 to close to, with more than 3,000 more, respectively, last year to this year. And it is in these circumstances that the contribution that the services sector must make could hardly be any clearer. We must continue to fulfill our mandate and our mission to facilitate skills development for employment and entrepreneurship in the services sector, fostering economic growth. And before I sit down, I'd just like to give the following quote that I did give during a previous AGM, and it had resonance. So before I hand over and we watch a short video, I will share it again with all of you. And it's a Chinese proverb. If you're planning for a year, sow rice. If you're planning for a decade, plant trees. But if you're planning for a lifetime, educate people. Thank you. We're waiting for a short video, and then we will. There we are. Thank you. This is a video that will show a few special projects that we have embarked on this year. We're just setting it up very nicely for you. You know, I must always say I'm happy when I see young people struggling with all this, because this is me. I would struggle like that. It's okay, guys.
From public management. I was doing the financial management, but ikhona ukuthi esididini ngazathi uyaqashwa so ngahambisa ke nami CV yami
la esikolweni ngafika ngokuthi umem wayefuna abantu abano-N6 abangakaze babe ne-diploma.
Gama le program isididini community program ne. So kuthathwa abantwana akade befunda emajuba akade befunda kuma-TVET colleges.
Is Wiseman ready? Or he's still? He's ready. Oh, okay. No.
Ikakhulukazi thina siku-rural areas.
Bantwana bebefunda o-public admin, o-financial admin, o-human resource, public relation, kanjalo njalo nje.
Thathe 18 months yonke sila esididini abafundi benza iy'skills zabo ey'hlukene khona la phakathi kulesi sikole esikhulu kangaka. So siyabonga naku-host employer yethu, siphathene kahle, bafunde kahle abafundi, azange kuze kube nankinga. Siyabonga.
Engifisa ukusho nje ukuthi u-service Seta ngathi angangiphinda futhi ukuthi more learners, not 20 ngoba maningi indawo esikuyi-disadvantage. Iyayidinga lento. Sisaqala siyi-NPO sasingenayisho ukuthi yini lesiyenzayo, kodwa kuthe ngokuhamba kwesikhathi sicommunicate no-service Seta sabona ukuthi hayi khona into esiyenzayo nathi sasingekho sure.
Iqiniso lisekutheni kunengoma ngazi noma iculo uMandoza nizoyithola kanjani uhlele khoneni. Abantu abasukuhlala balinda uhulumeni, but abantu abakube yibona abayihluphayo bangqongqoze kuyo yonke iminyango. U-service Seta usithema singqongqoza kuyena wayivula iminyango wasilekelela.
Nje sajabula bekuyinto eqalayo empilweni yethu lo, ikakhulukazi futhi enye into siyi-NPO.
Okay, mina ngiphuma no-N6 wami e-college, ngeza la ekhaya ngokuthi ngizoyenza i-N7 ukuba ne-diploma yami, and kube opportunity enkulu kimi because bengiqala ukusebenza lokhu ngaba yimi. So into engiyifunda kakhulu lana ukuthi ngikwazile ukusebenza nabantu, ngikwazile ukugena i-confidence bengingenayo, ngikwazile ukuma phambi kubantu, ngi-attenda ama-meetings bengiwa-attenda, ngikwazile like ngifunda okuningi kakhulu. And practically ngiyabo-computer bengikwenza khona izinto bengingazazi vele ngiyagcina esikoleni, but ngikwazile ukuthi ngifunde more mangifika la emsebenzini.
Sibonga kakhulu ku-Seta ngale program, sibonga kakhulu i-support abayivezile because u-Seta akasho ukuthi mayesesigrantile i-project bese ehlehlele emuva, but ube khona ukucheck ukuthi ngabe azikho ingqinamba esidibana nazo ukusilekelela. So siyafisa ukusho ukuthi u-Seta akaqhubeke alekelele kakhulu umphakathi waseNingizimu Afrika. Ngiyabonga.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Kakhulu ku-services Seta siyabonga kakhulu. Ngabe asinawo thina ama-diploma namhlanje of bengasinina. So guys, sacela ukuthi ningadina nakwabanye abasazo-applya bathole babe njengathi bayograda. Siyabonga kakhulu.
Thank you. I think this was a video just to give you a snippet of what the Services Seta does and what it means to various people. This year, as the board, we went to all the corners of the country to visit various programs, and it was always, the best part was always to meet the learners. I'm being a mum, I always cry when my child does something, so with all the learners coming to give their testimony, I would shed a tear, but it was always deeply meant. I mean, we really got to see what we mean for a child in Priska, what we mean for a learner in Nelspruit, Mpumalanga, or Bloemfontein. So I think, though this, for some of us, is our last AGM, and March we might be leaving you, but we hope that all of you see the impact that you make in somebody's life. And we'd like to thank you again, all for that. That is what I'll take with me, should I not come back. And that's a lesson well learned. With that, I'd like to hand over to our chairperson to give our chairperson's address, Acting Chair, Mr. Wiseman Dinwa. Thank you.
Morning. Am I audible? Oh. Thank you, colleague, Madam Program Director, my fellow Accounting Authority and Audit Committee members present here, and those who are in the virtual platform, our acting CEO, Mr. Andile Spengan, your executive management team, board secretariat, and the rest of the Services Seta team in your different capacities. Mr. Busani, Wholesale and Retail Seta, MICT Seta Chair, Mr. Simpiwe Tobela, Ms. Mabongi Klagaza, on behalf of Tekwini Mayor, Mr. Cyril Klaba, our esteemed stakeholders gathered here, and those who have joined virtually. As indicated earlier in the program, and on behalf of our chairperson, Mr. Stephen de Vries, I greet you all. It is a high honor for me to address you at this Services Seta Annual General Meeting for 2023-24 financial year, as this also marks the final year of the current accounting authority. We are very proud of the changes we have brought to the Services Seta. Therefore, we shall reflect on our progress and areas that require closer attention to help the 7th administration and the incumbent accounting authority realize the goals, or these goals. Most noteworthy, our country's current economic challenges are characterized by slow growth, rising living costs, and high unemployment rates, as indicated earlier by Program Director. More than ever, these challenges call for expanding skills development opportunities for our learning population. For the Services Seta Accounting Authority, this report marks penultimate year before the current board term ends in March 2025. Therefore, this requires us to conduct more profound reflections on the organization's performance over the last 4 years, taking stock of areas of success and also looking at areas that need further improvement in order to ensure that we realize the objectives that we have set for ourselves. As this overview will illustrate, we have made good strides in some areas and fell short of our expectations in others. Significant strides have been made in stabilizing the organization's operations, including reducing the overcommitments that we inherited, stabilizing the financial position, and enabling high performance. This progress should provide reassurance about services Seta financial stability, while our apex goal is of a clean audit outcome, which has not been achieved yet. It is encouraging to note that the number of audit findings have drastically reduced. Upon inauguration, this accounting authority's main focus was to bring about stability in operations, human resources, financial resources, information and communication technology, and governance, and ultimately improve the overall organizational performance to realize our mandate. Through hard work, our financial position has drastically improved. We moved the organization from commitments of over 4 billion rands to approximately 2.3 billion rands against discretionary grant reserves of approximately 2.8 billion, leaving us with a positive going concern. Reducing commitments has been achieved mainly due to prudent financial management, including rationalizing prior year's commitments. And we thank our stakeholders, especially training providers who collaborated with us in this challenging exercise. Through this cooperation, we reduced our commitment schedule and opened new discretionary grants windows. Employers' contribution to our revenue through skills levies is crucial to improving our financial position. Despite challenging economic conditions, the services Seta revenue has grown from a baseline of just over 1 billion in 2020-21 financial year to over 1.9 billion in the year of financial year 2023-24. Equally encouraging is the increased number of employers participating in the skills development, as evidenced by the rise in the workplace skills plan and annual training report submissions from 3,925 in the year 2020 financial year to 5,006 in the year 2023-24, representing a 22% increase. This is a testament to our employers' confidence in our processes and systems, and we are proud of our impact on skills development. We take pride in skills development opportunities provided for more than 50,000 learners, including bursary opportunities for the missing middle. We are particularly proud to have contributed to the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative by offering internship opportunities to 3,290 universities, TVET colleges, CET colleges, interns in the period under review. And we look forward to further improving our performance in the future. Our transformation agenda remains on track, with most beneficiaries being Black, women, and youth. We are committed to doing more to reach or we are committed to do more to reach out to people with disabilities and those living in rural areas. This commitment is the priority of the Accounting Authority in the remaining period of our term. Supporting the growth and development of small, medium, macro enterprises, SMEs, remains our key strategy to promote transformation in the services sector. In the period under reporting, we provided skills development opportunities to about 3,295 SMMEs, cooperatives, NPOs, and business startups. Furthermore, we provided or we focused on coaching and mentoring to support 104 emerging and growing SMEs to reverse the unfortunate trend of many SMEs failing within few years of their establishment. With lessons learned from the flagship program, we will continue to extend this support to the rest of the sector. In terms of building priorities and strategic relationships, the strategic plan 2020-21 to 2024-25 was underpinned by clear priorities to be implemented in the medium and long term. The service Seta implemented 5 priorities in partnership with our stakeholders. Those priorities include fostering inter-Seta collaboration and industry partnerships to promote SMME development in the services sector, secure workplace training opportunities in collaboration with the industry employers and the services sector, work with the QCTO and industry role players to complete and implement registered occupationally directed qualifications, strengthen collaboration across PSET's ecosystem, including inter-Seta partnerships to ensure an effective response to priority interventions aligned to the economic reconstruction or ERP, Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan, ERRP. Also, we intend to develop an organizational-wide monitoring and evaluation framework to improve performance management. Our achievements or our detailed achievement in these priority areas can be unpacked as follows. In terms of fostering inter-Seta collaboration and industry partnership to promote SMME development in the services sector. What we have done in the 2023-2024 financial year, the services Seta forged successful partnerships with key role players in the SMME ecosystem, focusing on emerging and growing partnerships. The services Seta held joint capacity building sessions with Seta, DSBD, SIFA, SAFA, HAMRI, Department of Labor, and IPASA, focusing on rural areas in the Eastern Cape, Limpopo, Mpumalanga, Northern Cape, Northwest, and Free State provinces. Capacitation sessions were highly successful with huge turnouts. The service Seta identified emerging and growing SMEs that require coaching and mentoring interventions and arranged for service or training providers to render the required assistance. In terms of securing workplace training opportunities, working in collaboration with industries or industry employers and the Seta. Pursuant to this action plan, the service Seta provided funding for training opportunities to 20 top levy paying entities per chamber to promote their participation in the services Seta learning interventions. Funding covered a number of learning pathways, including employed and unemployed learnerships, employed bursaries, recognition of prior learning, adult education and training, and candidacy. While not all entities participating in this initiative, many did with sounding results. This initiative will be continued in the 2025-26 financial year as funds reserved for this purpose are still available. Furthermore, the services Seta forged collaboration with 6 universities of technology to fund work-integrated learning programs. All universities took up this offer, thus consolidating collaboration between services Seta and the universities of technology for the first time. Working with QCTO and industry role players to complete and implement registered occupationally directed qualifications. The relationship between services Seta and the QCTO has improved drastically due to the steps the services Seta undertook to support the QCTO. The services Seta has ranked occupational qualification development as the highest strategic risk for the organization. Efforts to mitigate this risk have been hampered by the lack of capacity within the QCTO, which affected turnaround times and the ability of the services Seta to develop occupational qualifications at a required speed. To remediate this shortcoming, the service Seta offered to provide funding for additional resources to support the QCTO in reviewing and approving occupational qualifications. The QCTO accepted the offer and placed up to 35 university interns on a 1-year contract to support the Quality Council for Trades and Occupations, QCTO. In addition, as part of this package, the service Seta made up funding available for the appointment of subject matter experts to address the backlog of review of occupational qualifications submitted for review and registration. In terms of strengthening alignment between industry needs and service Seta supply through research implementation and structured monitoring and evaluation, reasonable progress has been made in this regard. The Skills Planning Unit conducts quarterly analysis of learning interventions implemented against the sector skills plan, list of hard-to-fill vacancies, skills gaps, and priority occupations. Findings from these analyses are communicated to Learning Intervention Implementation Department, highlighting gaps and encouraging responsible departments to address the shortcomings. Some progress is made in this regard, as the tendency is to implement learning interventions based on what entities submit through the discretionary grant window application process. To remediate this challenge, occupational qualifications should be prioritized per learning intervention in line with our annual performance plan targets. This should be addressed in the discretionary grant window specifications. The 2024-25 DG window was specific in this regard, and progress will be closely monitored. Implementation of an organization-wide monitoring and evaluation framework to improve performance management. The Accounting Authority and the Department of Higher education emphasized the impact of our learning intervention. The services Seta has engaged services of a private provider to help develop an effective monitoring and evaluation framework for implementation in this current financial year, 2024-25. In terms of partnerships, colleagues, we have developed partnerships with the universities of technology, TVET colleges, and community education and training college systems to strengthen supply capacity further. More than 30 institutions of higher education benefited from this partnership. We partnered with 7 universities, 20 TVET colleges, and 9 community colleges to build capacity within the college sector. We also provided skills development opportunities to 101 TVET and community college lecturers. In addition to that, we offered bursary funding opportunities to 50 TVET college lecturers to further their studies. Furthermore, we extended support to our centers of specialization and provided infrastructure support to 3 TVET colleges and 1 community education and training college. Progress has been made in constructing 3 skills development centers in Umkhuze, Dumbe, and Priska. These centers are located in rural areas, and the intention here is to expand access to skills development opportunities. The centers are also linked to local TVET colleges to ensure that they are adequately utilized. Partnerships with our employers and labor gained impressive traction. To strengthen working relationship with these constituencies, we provided ring-fenced support to top-level paying entities and professional bodies. We've collaborated with CCMA. We offer customized shop stewards training interventions to support worker-initiated skills training initiatives. 60 individuals representing 4 trade unions benefited from this intervention. We have also expanded partnerships and collaboration with other setters to improve the delivery of skills development opportunities, especially in areas where we need to use qualifications falling outside our scope as services sector. And this was intended to ensure that we align our services to be relevant to our sector. This initiative is a clear demonstration of our commitment to the goals of the Seta Integrated High Impact Program, an initiative by Seta CEOs Association and Chairpersons Forum to deepen Seta's impact through collaboration and partnerships. Challenges faced by the Accounting Authority. The Accounting Authority is fully constituted, as shown earlier, and remains stable and functional. The scheduled meetings took place as planned. All committees and structures reported to the Accounting Authority through the Executive Committee. The Accounting Authority has tirelessly engaged management on challenges experienced in a year under reporting. Last year we resolved to open windows for discretionary grants and special projects. We have experienced significant delays in the implementation of these 2 windows. Internal errors, poor internal and external communication, and non-responsiveness in the services Seta underpinned by the commencement of our special projects. Today, on behalf of the Accounting Authority and also on behalf of our chairperson, I conditionally apologize for the delays and strain on your operations and our collective performance, stakeholders. We have corrected these mistakes and unprofessional non-responsiveness. Your complaints have helped us to fix our processes and systems. Our DG window allocation was also delayed due to poor planning and ICT system errors. We have made our first allocation of the discretionary grant window and offer letters are being processed. The Accounting Authority will approve the second allocation in the next month. In terms of appointments, following the resignation of Chief Executive Officer Mr. Menzu Fakude, who left the organization in September 2023, the Minister appointed Mr. Andile Spengana as the acting Chief Executive Officer. As directed by the Minister, the Accounting Authority went through the recruitment and selection process and recommended 3 candidates to the Minister for appointment to this CEO's position. No appointments have been made to date, or no appointment have been made to date, and we anticipate that the incoming board will start the process afresh. Strategic focus over the medium-term period. I've covered this one. Okay. In terms of driving for adoption of technology and digitization in the services sector and address mismatch between demand and supply. Fourth Industrial Revolution, as it is commonly known, is one of the key drivers of skills demand and supply in the services industry. In addition, the government's Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan has identified digital skills as one critical intervention area for growing economy and creating jobs. The service Seta will devote special attention to this action plan to ensure alignment with national priorities and support the services sector growing and thriving strides. In terms of support of economic recovery and growth by promoting SME development in the services sector, research indicates that promoting SME sector can drive economic growth in addition to driving the manufacturing sector. SME are regarded as better entities for job creation in the country. As new entrants in the economic market, SMEs are flexible and take advantage of dominant economic activities and suitable markets to grow their operations. In terms of acknowledgements and appreciation, we sincerely appreciate our stakeholders in your different capacities for your contribution and your efforts and the vital role that we have played in the development of this sector as well as skills development. Special thanks to the Ministry of Higher Education for the guidance. We are also forever indebted to the Portfolio Committee of the Parliament of the Republic of South Africa, the National Skills Authority, the National Treasury, and the Auditor General of South Africa, all of which provide us with considerable advice and assistance. I'm also grateful to our senior and executive management and every staff member whose hard work and dedication has contributed to the services Seta achievements in the reported financial year. Lastly, I thank my fellow board members and audit committee members for your service and dedication to serving the public and our stakeholders and ensuring that the services Seta deliver on its mandate. It has been a challenging task, and we will hand over an organization in a better position than we found. With reference to an old Athenian oath, I quote, "We will strive unceasingly to quicken the public sense of civic duty. Thus, in all these ways, we will transmit this Seta, not only, not less, but greater and more beautiful than it was transmitted to us." I thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Wiseman Dinwa, our acting chairperson. Before I hand over to the next speaker, I don't know, can people see me live right now? Are they watching me? Oh, great. So they probably also see that I am nicely powdered up, my eyebrows are done, my lashes are lashed, and my skin is shining. And that's all because for all the people who are here with us live today, in the foyer you will see partnership between Seta and one of your skills development providers in action. We'd like to thank Sandy Singh of TBSA, a skills development provider in the beauty industry, who is with us here today with 86 learners that are here today to just give you a little bit of a powder, a little bit of a lash, and make you feel all beautiful as I feel today. Oh, there I am. I can see myself. So thank you very much. A big applause goes out to TBSA and South African Association of Health and Skincare Professionals, with whom we partner a lot when it comes to the beauty industry in South Africa. So a big round of applause, please, especially to all the learners. They must hear that we acknowledge them and that we wish them all the best in their study and in their careers. Thank you very much. And then a big thank you to Dermalogica, who's also in the foyer. Otisha, thank you very much for being here today. And she has wonderful gifts. There's a goodies bag with lovely skincare product for ladies and for the gents. So thank you very much for that partnership. And that is just a sign of what we have achieved and what we are terribly proud of. So thank you for that. With that, I'd like to hand over to our acting Chief Executive Officer, Andile Spingane. It's your turn to give us the annual report of the Accounting Authority's Affairs and Services Seta. Thank you.
Good morning, Sanbonani, Molweni, Dumelang. I always carry this companion. It never fails me, next to me when I'm in the podium. If things don't go accordingly, I resort to it. Can you assist me with rolling over? Yeah, this will do. there you are.
Your password, please.
Apologies for this technical delay.
Can I just plug it in? See, oh, your laptop is very old.
Never mind, I can just proceed there in the interest of time.
Here we go.
Then let's move to this side. But those people virtually will be able to see.
Yes, sir.
Young man, can you give me water there?
I'll get you the water.
Let's leave it. Let's leave it and I just project there. It's delay. Give me water there, ne? Yo. Thank you. We are okay. Once more, a very warm welcome and a good morning to you all. I'm just going to share with you high-level annual report that we have also presented to the Portfolio Committee recently. And we felt it important that in the meeting of our stakeholders, because this is your meeting, let's also share with you and cover some level of detail in certain areas so that our stakeholders can own it up, this performance of our organization, and be able to provide us with insights and inputs that will help us in continuous improvement of our performance. So in the main, I will be covering performance-related issues of our organization. But as I get to that, let me just share with you the vision that has been revised or reviewed by the current board. And they come up with this latest vision that we want to align our stakeholders to it, and it guides and informs us as it brings us the future of this organization. A flourishing services sector that creates economic growth and inclusive opportunities for all South Africans. Key here in this vision is creation of economic growth and inclusive opportunities that we want this services sector to drive. Of importance in my presentation is to zoom in directly as part of welcoming you and sharing with you this vision together with performance of the organization. Let's delve into improved performance, as our key strategic focus areas has been performance and audit that we are driving into this organization for better on a continuous basis. We are committed to build industry-relevant skills, social impact, and strengthening governance to improve service delivery. One of the reminders that was brought to our attention by the Portfolio Committee and, of course, our board in working on our strategy was the importance of tracking and tracing all beneficiaries to our interventions so that we can realize the impact. What is of importance now is not just the statistics, numbers. It's the impact that we are making through our skills revolution that could yield impactful interventions to drive the economic growth, to drive the economic livelihood of the beneficiaries into our programs. We're now reflecting in the performance, reviewing it for the past 3 years. I don't know what it is showing me there, but let me also rely here. The organizational performance since COVID has since realized a positive pickup. I can just share with you that our situation was heavily embarrassing there in 2 ways. We couldn't achieve good performance as we would have loved to see it happening in the sector. That's one thing. We couldn't even afford to have the DG windows open during that time. We were just sitting at a very low percentage, ashamedly 40% then. That was 2020, 2021. Things started improving drastically when this board came in and directed us strategically and operationally so to focus on improving performance. We realize now 21, 22, 80%, 22, 23 financial year, 84%, and in 23, 24, we had a 1% drop. We ended up at 83%. But we have set a benchmark to say, not again, that this Seta will fall below 80%. That's the benchmark that we set. We are now targeting to be at 90% and continuously improve up to what is expected of us, which is 100%. Of this 83% that we managed to achieve, I can highlight the 4 pillars that we focus at in our performance direction. Administration is the first one. We managed to be at 88%. What also this symbolizes is that the governance of the organization is strong. If its administration is above 80%, that's a demonstration that at administrative levels, we are in full control in terms of your expectations and your needs as our stakeholders. Skills planning, that's when we realize a slight decrease ending up at 75%. Learning programs, which is the core of the organization, we are at 83% based on the performance I'm sharing with you for financial year 23-24. Quality assurance. Learning program interventions through core business and quality assurance goes together. You cannot have qualifications that you issue and certificate without ensuring that the quality assurance process is 100%, so that nobody can doubt the qualification received from our accredited training providers, yourselves, and our industry that provides us with workplace opportunity. We thank you for that, because our quality assurance, as per what I'm sharing now, ended up being at 100%. You will know historically that we have had situations where some stakeholders would question the credibility, the authenticity of the qualifications that are awarded by institutions of learning, not necessarily service Seta. So we appreciate when quality assurance is intact, because we can proudly and confidently issue certificates whereby beneficiaries will also be proud thereof and create and contribute towards more employability of our beneficiaries. When you look at this overall performance of 83%, definitely you can see that there is a shortfall. We are now open enough to share with you where we have had shortfalls. Reason being that we are calling upon you to work with us towards improvement, towards addressing these shortfalls. Without you, we can never move on addressing the gaps that we've experienced, the challenges. So we are calling upon you now, as we have DG's special projects that get open from time to time. They are focusing also, amongst other areas, on ensuring that these shortfalls that I'm sharing with you can never be again. Qualified audit. That is an issue that we have been battling with, but there are considered efforts in addressing this. We are looking forward now to drastically move from this financial year onwards towards positive improvement on our audit. Thankful that at least we don't have a collapse in both performance and audit. We are realizing improved performance to an extent that the audit of performance information was clean in terms of really not having audit findings to it. So we have demonstrated that even the overall audit outcome of the organization can be changed around towards a positive outcome. Yes, we may not jump from this state into clean audit, but there are efforts that are getting us out of negative audit outcome. The DG allocations were less focused at elementary level, hence 31%. So what we need to do moving forward now, as we are continuously looking into DGs and various other interventions, partnerships with industry, partnership with our training providers, accredited training providers, we want to ensure that we start from NQF level 1, elementary level, 1, 2, 3. But don't end there. Progress to the highest level, at least up to NQF level 7 or 8. We've got a program now that we are running with GIPS that is pitched at NQF level 8. But let me call it a mistake, with a lack of a better word, was more to focus at higher level skills, your NQF level 4 and above, forgetting the elementary and the entry level. And even our industry indicated that that's where also we want you to focus. We have had a situation of trying to support our industry on WSPs and ATR submissions. We got in some consulting staff on contract basis that could assist on capacitating and supporting our industry. And I believe that if we continue with such interventions, we'll have an improvement as well as participation of our industry in the skills levy contributions. So this is an area that we appeal to our stakeholders, yourselves, to help us to ensure we get dedicated focus into this area, and that will boost our revenues to enable skills development even for the future. The Seta partnership fell short at 19%. It is clear now in the skills system that without collaborations and partnership, there is no success. So it's an area that we need to have more targeted focus on. Build these partnerships within the PSET, with our industry, with our key role partners. We have realized the progress in this financial year when we are chasing these collaborations and partnerships, that even with government departments, public entities, it can yield results. We have got a partnership with KZN DTIA on 700 learners that have started on real estate. That will get proper qualification and licensing to begin to operate into this industry. That is true partnership. So amongst others, there is quite a lot. I won't deal with them all because I have to ensure that I keep on time here. The TVET lecturers that needed to be exposed into the industry. It's a great need within the TVET sector. We are appealing to the industry to continuously open doors for the lecturers to be exposed in the real world of work with modern technology that is getting used. However, you find that as you are trying to be of support, they might also be having other priorities that then compromise these interventions. However, through strengthening partnerships with TVET institutions and CETs and universities, we are realizing much more improvement. I don't see us really not achieving the full target that we have set here now. It's inclusive of even bursaries for TVET lecturers. We have got UKZN as one of the universities, Tshwane University of Technology, to mention but a few, that have designed learning programs for TVET lecturers so that the bursaries that we offer them as SETAs could be directly focused into the areas that are critical and are aligned with the future of skills development. Learnerships enrolled fell short. Learnership completions also fell short. Here it's about planning the input, the output, and the outcome. If you create a pipeline on enrollment that could enable, with all the factors that get to influence the pipeline towards the throughput, it then assists to have a throughput that could be allowing you to progress and meet your targets. But I think our limitation on not having the DGs for quite a few years, coming from COVID and coming from our commitments, didn't support us or by enabling us to have a good pipeline for completions. If you have got less enrollment on learnerships, definitely it affects your output and as well as your throughput. How can I forget this when my stakeholders are here? The RPL, ARPL. Help us there. You know, when SAQA introduced this policy, it was when we realized in the skills revolution that we are bending towards social impact interventions, because we are recognizing people that didn't have formal qualifications due to history we are coming from. And we are enabling them to have formal qualifications that take them forward, bending towards social justice in the true sense of it. So assist us here. I know the majority of you do have proper accreditation and they understand the modalities around implementation of ARPL and RPL programs. We assist you with all the support that we require to help us achieve this for our sector. EM Mamabele Strategy and Insight have got these as priorities for our industry partnerships and collaborations, as well as our accredited providers. The few highlights that I want to share that indicates that really we are not in the darkest corner in the skills revolution as Service Seta. There are some areas that we achieve extremely well. Look at bursaries funded, 170%. We are looking at missing middle here. Those that have not received any form of a bursary, not even with NSFAS, they are referred as missing middle. That's where we target. Same as the bursaries for TVET lecturers. And this is a national crisis for our country. For us to have really been able to over-exceed what we have set as a target, it's a step in the right direction. I think we'll be forgiven by our stakeholders if we continuously over-exceed year on year, pending the availability of funds to do so. Entrepreneurship, cooperatives, development and capacitation. we have got an e-learning platform that we deliver in the extreme rural areas as a support to rural areas using a truck like this one you have seen outside. We've got 5 trucks that have got infrastructure that enables us to allow this learning to happen in the extreme rural areas. During the areas of power shortages, we're backing these trucks with the generators to generate more power so that even if we are on load shedding in a particular area, but learning will go on. I've realized the youth being very excited about this form of learning, this model of learning. But we realize that we cannot exclude all other forms of learning when it comes to SMME, cooperative development, and rural projects, because we are realizing that it's a national priority. Hence now you will find that from the DG, those providers who do apply for rural specific interventions targeting small business and cooperatives, we give them the attention. All what we have to ensure is that they comply and they submit things accordingly so that we don't get trapped into this negative audit outcome. So we have improved on the rural development projects. We are driving a concept of rural and township economy revitalization into our interventions. Kushuthi sicheme kakhulu ngala rural areas. Hence even our skills centers that we have built and we are still working on are more into the rural areas and to some extent in township economies, like Moteo in Bloemfontein, which is in a township just outside of the city of Bloemfontein. Through this bursary support, we are realizing completions, 258% completions. These are the learners that would have even gotten their certificates, being able to graduate and get into the labor market. So we allow them to access all what is required for them to be in the labor market and source jobs. But also, self-employment is also our priority, entrepreneurship, because we want to create and support learners who are going to get out and start businesses and employ others, which is a huge, huge challenge that's facing our youth. The job market is shrinking day by day. So we want to inculcate this culture of entrepreneurship. We've got a program we're running, for instance, with Wits University, Wits Business School, Center for Entrepreneurship. That is not just about Joburg as a town and Gauteng as a province. It's national interventions using digital technologies. We thank MICT Seta because it is very helpful on programs that are looking at digital skills and various technology and communication skills. Because we don't have to duplicate these. We work together, we are together, we partner with other Setas in this delivery. Learners completed 126%. That's inclusive of learnerships and skills programs. It's a total improvement on learnerships completed. We are building a solid base to serve better. That's where our energies are. That's where we make sure that the finger is on the pulse. Reduction of discretionary grant commitments from 4 billion to 2.3 billion was not an easy task, and it is still not an easy task. Hence, you could see that we are only now beginning to open windows, have special projects in place, which we never had for quite a while, because we're focusing on this cleaning exercise. But there's drastic improvement, and it leaves us also with some funds that keep the organization afloat. Yes, we are not supposed to be having surplus funds, but looking at where we are coming from, we need to have some funds that will keep the organization not losing track on its performance and ensuring that stakeholders assist it in this regard. So we have had financial surplus of 994 million. supported by improved governance and financial management. Amongst others, the oversight responsibility of our board was to ensure that we improve in governance and improve in financial stability of the organization. I must say there was a point when I was looking at the financials of our organization, I was beginning to say we might be approaching a retrenchment. But fortunately, through your support in rejuvenating the levies, we soon got out of that position. Streamline the processes to serve stakeholders better and allocate resources more effectively. That's an area that we admit and we are focusing at improvement to ensure we have got enough resources in terms of human resources, in terms of ICT infrastructure. All these challenges that we are grappling with to a high level of dissatisfaction, in the main, these are the major contributors to it. But I'm glad that we are learning through these experiences and improving for better. I don't have to repeat this, I've touched on it to say really we are coming from 40% up to above 80% with this board. I think they deserve just a hand, stakeholders. Because if you look at when they come into this Seta and where we are, to move in this space from 40% to above 80% is not a child's play. It needs people that are intellectually gifted and strategists and visionaries, that they know what they are here all about. We have participated in the Presidential Youth Program, where we have had 3,290 internships that have benefited. We have had 362 million allocated in mandatory grants. What is required by law, not Service Seta, is that entities must be paid back from their mandatory grant contribution and must be supported to ensure that that money gets directed to training of the workforce, as well as extend to the national crisis areas that we have in the main youth unemployment. This is the biggest elephant in the skills system, transitioning from historic to occupational qualifications. We plead on you stakeholders, help us here. Get this accreditation for occupational qualifications. It's one of the major quality improvements in the skills system because we've got theory in these qualifications, practical, and the workplace. It's based on even models, to mention just a few, like German model of skills development, Switzerland, and it enhances employers' participation into skills development because they get the throughput that is ready and fit for purpose. Let's work together. It's quite challenging. It's not an easy one. But if you look at it now, where we are, we've aligned and developed 55 occupational qualifications already. It's still very small, looking at the transition period. Because even these extended legacy ones have got a time frame. Soon they are going to be 2027. We would have already dealt with those, focusing 100% into occupational qualifications. But we appreciate that some of you that were still having valid accreditation helped us a lot in the work of special projects as well as the DGs that we are working on now, that you applied for. We just have 1,582 SDBs accredited here. We are looking at full qualifications, part qualifications, and skills programs. Assessment centers, 324 accredited against the occupational qualifications. It's not easy here because they have to go through vigorous quality assurance process for them to be approved as assessment centers for these qualifications. We also have not left behind the SMEs in this regard. 413 of them are registered against 20 of the registered and approved occupational qualifications. 26 of the 55 registered are accredited on learnerships. It's also important to just have a sight of few individuals that the organization can tap into and get into some verbatim kind of sharing of how interventions are impacting on them. I've got two here that I've reflected on with my team. However, there's plenty of these people that are silent out there but have yielded positive improvements in their livelihood in various ways. But look at Oami here, who benefited from the internship program. She says, the support I received ensured I could focus on my studies and excel. So academically, the internship has contributed to improvement of his career, of her career. Look at Charity here with some disability, who has expanded her mushroom farming business. She says, this training has given me confidence and opened international opportunities. This is an entrepreneur. So these interventions go beyond your disability, go beyond your current state of affairs, be it you are in extreme rural, coming out of extreme poverty situation, impoverished situation. So it's some of the experiences that when we get this platform, we also have to share with stakeholders. But I think we need to advance on media platforms as well. Hear these people talking directly and sharing their experiences. I think some people can realize the great work that the Setas have done. Yes, there is a lot of negative publicity. It helps us to keep ourselves on toes and ensure we work towards greater successes. But it tends to be biased towards the areas that we are not doing so well. And forget about those that could be encouraging others to realize what these Setas are all about. You get into some areas where people would say, I never knew about a Seta. The only thing I hear about Setas is when there is an article about fraud and corruption and things that are in a mess. There's a lot of good stakeholders that we are doing. But I think together we can be able to communicate these pockets of success. We are faced with challenges as a country. I'm about to finish now. Social issues, unemployment. That is why this board took an effort to ensure that we have got, through special projects, through unsolicited projects that we receive from our stakeholders, we have got a focus on these, a national priority focus area that are a national crisis. Youth unemployment, for instance. It's very much informed and guided to have these special interventions, strategic intervention, so to say. Maybe they are more than just being special. They are strategic to help our country and to contribute to economic recovery. Hence, our country has had ERRP. ERRP is aimed at focusing on digital skills, the futuristic skills required by industry for more employability and self-employment. Tourism and hospitality is here. Digital skills are here. We also have got a qualification that's a skills program on occupational qualifications developed by our industry in partnership with Service Seta. It's looking at spatial intelligence, NQF level 4 and NQF level 2. We were supported by MICT Seta in developing that qualification. And it's one of the qualifications that is very, very important to be looked at and be implemented by the sector. Other area is the project closure. Please help us. Let's work together on closing project. Each project have got a start and a finish. There is no way you could have a project as far back as financial year 21-22 that is still open and reflecting in our commitment register as being active. Yes, we admit there are some weaknesses on our part, especially in the areas of moderations and up to certification. Let's pull together. Don't sit with that project without bringing it to our attention. Because if our monitoring is weak, we might not have the detail of everything. Oh, okay, thank you. Let me just finish, because when I talk, I'm so passionate about skills development. I just get overexcited and move around like a priest. Project closure, that's key. Operational and governance. The audit opinion must change. You know, in one way or another, you are also contributing to this negative audit outcome. Because some of the errors that occur are within both of us, stakeholders and us. So we have to work together on pulling through here. We have got an ICT governance through our board. There's a governance committee on ICT. It's keeping us on our toes to ensure that there is continuous ongoing improvement. We are looking forward now, led by MICT again, on the shared services on ICT program. That is going to help us to deal with all these kind of errors that we experience in our LMIS system. But we are still, as we are moving towards that direction, still working on ensuring that our LMIS system and other systems that we use, your IMS that we use for your invoicing, it's kept on and we expedite the process. And I'm glad to confirm that we are improving on ensuring that on weekly basis, payments should go through. We won't be sitting with surpluses if you submit your invoice on time and having been quality assured, because cash will start moving. It's not a good picture to sit with cash whilst there are our stakeholders out there that are struggling in their businesses. By the way, why ningayiclaim imali yenu nisebenzile? Okay. Challenges within the occupational qualifications framework are so vast and require you to collaborate and work with us in executing these. We need you to be accredited. We are happy that QCTO now has allocated that in the SLA between the SETAs, functions like accreditation of providers. And this, by the way, because everyone wants to be accredited on occupational qualifications, create a huge backlog. Help us. We are trying hard to ensure that we deal with the backlog on accreditation on occupational qualifications, to be exact. There is a huge demand of subject matter experts. It's yourselves, your industry people. You have been in the industries doing the work. You are experts that we need into this intervention. We call upon you to assist. We have had partnership with CCMA on our chamber, labor chamber in particular. Unions and federations are getting capacitation facilitated by CCMA. It's one of the transformational in the labor system interventions. Let's capacitate. We're still going to continue supporting federations and union as it is articulated in the NSDP 2030. Universities, TVET colleges, they are PSET year on year. We have got strategic interventions that are scheduled for these institutions. All what we are calling for is for them to be supportive. TVET college, come on board. Help us understand your needs. We can't dictate what you require. It must be a bottom-up. Tell us what is aligned to your requirements. CET college is the same, and working closer with QCTO is strengthening our support and progress on occupational qualifications. The thorny issue, DG, as I'm ending, we have delayed you in this process due to a lot of internal issues we're trying to clean up, from ICT to operational capacitation issues. Now we have had at least batch 1 out for 42 entities that are in the process of offer letters and commencement, and we are starting to progress now on what has been the delay we have identified, and will continuously be looking closely into those technical issues that keep on interfering with our work on operations. But at least we have started to move. We are looking, before we close on the 20th of December, to have batch 2 also presented for recommendation to the board. So we don't want that to miss this remaining period, so that we issue offer letters and commencement that will enable you to start contributing into our Q4. From January, we are cutting off Q3, we need to have improvement in Q4. Siya ku 90%, by the way. Not less than that. But we can only achieve through working with you collaboratively so. We have had special projects. These special projects are stopgap measure. You cannot have them opened for the whole year. So the board took a decision to say, we're gonna be continuously looking into gaps that we need to fill in the organizational performance and have this window being opened, and look into what government requires to be focused at in various interventions, and begin to have this. We are supporting, Seta is one of the Setas, amongst others, that cut across all economic sectors. We're in local government, we're in traditional council, we're in organized labor, we're in funeral sector, you name them. It's quite big. So we need to have not to lose focus into some interventions that might be lagging apart. I've just mentioned RPL and ARPL, for instance. These could also be continuously supported through, from time to time, opening special projects. The future is bright, and we are very energized towards that, because we can see our country economically is struggling. It is upon us to ensure we contribute towards improvement of our economy, towards betterment of our livelihood. So transitioning fully to occupational qualifications is one of our focus areas. Expanding rural and township economic revitalization initiatives, improving ICT systems. We are living in a global world that everything now is driven by ICT. So we don't have to miss ensuring that we are here to support, allow the innovation, creativity that continuously enhances our ICT operations. We are moving from paper-oriented organization to one that relies on ICT infrastructure, improved digital skills, and delivery models that are informed and guided by ICT system. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Acting CEO. Before I introduce the next speaker, just a couple of people who have been very important to us, a couple of stakeholders. Again, in the foyer, you will see Mangwanani, but they're also here with us today. They're in the beauty industry, and they have taken on 30 learners. So we'd like to say a thank you to Mangwanani Spa for that. Ikebuletu, the funeral services, the board member, we just want to acknowledge that company as well. Then the CCMG, contact center, hereby acknowledged. The PMSA and the project management, they're here with us today. We'd like to acknowledge them. And the golden scissors in the hair industry. We'd like to acknowledge them as well. And then to add, of course, all the TVET colleges with whom we have partnered. Thank you very much for that partnership. Thank you for that. And then as we proceed, because just in the interest of time, a very important person I'd like to introduce, that is our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Matsebe. He's going to join us now and give a presentation of the annual financial statements of the Services Seta Accounting Authority. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, it's afternoon already. Good afternoon. Time flies when you're having fun. Thank you very much. I'll be taking you through the annual financial statements. If I can have the first slide, please. I've taken backup plan and brought my own machine. Oh, okay. No, thanks. My presentation covers 5 areas: statement of financial position, which is commonly known as the balance sheet, the statement of financial performance, which is the income statement, an analysis of our total expenditure, which are aligned to what the CEO have just alluded to, our statutory disclosure notes, and the audit action plan. In terms of the statement of financial position, in relation to current assets, we recorded an increase of 40%, moving from 2.2 billion to 3.2 billion, and that mainly attributable to an increase in cash and cash equivalent, which is the cash we have in the bank, mainly because of the surplus that we recognized in the previous year. On current assets, which is your buildings, the trucks, the cars we have, it's a slight decrease of 11% from 137 to 122, purely because our depreciation was more than the assets we bought during that year. Hopefully this year it will increase as we are embarking on replacing most of our ICT infrastructure. Then the overall total assets increased by 37%. On payables, a decrease of 31% from 292 to 202. And in the main, in an effort for us to pay our suppliers within 15 days, hence we tried to make payments as frequent as possible. On provisions, which is mainly the bursaries for the learners that we fund, it's still stable, 222 from 222,000 to 223. On total reserves, an increase of 52% from 1.9 billion to 2.9 billion. When we compare that to our commitments, as the CEO touched on earlier, our commitments have reduced to 2.3 from 2.4 from the previous year, but which was 4 billion in 2020. So our reserves are increasing, our commitments are reducing. It's a sign of stable current financial affairs. An analysis on our statement of financial performance. On levies, we recorded an increase of 7% from 1.8 billion to 1.9. On investments, a 101% increase from 105,000 to 211, mainly because of the reserves and the funds we have in the bank account, as expenditure is not moving. Overall expenditure, a reduction from 1.3 billion to 1.1 billion, which is 11% decrease. On surpluses, an increase from 605 to 993, which is an increase of 64%. The overall expenditure analysis, our overall expenditure in terms of mandatory grants, an increase of 6%, which says the participation on WSP's ATRs, it's really not increasing, as the 6% can be linked to the 7% in the overall revenue. But the next speaker will talk about our plans to improve the participation of the sector in the submission. Discretionary grants reduced by 28% from 743 to 534. On discretionary grants, admin expenditure, a reduction of 35% from 55 million to 36 million. Overall admin expenditure, an increase of 13% from 315 million to 355 million. And the split, out of the overall expenditure for the year, 21% is for mandatory grants, 33% it's admin, 45% it's discretionary grants. So you can see it supports what the CEO have just alluded to, that the providers are really not claiming. So overall, we'll also like to have our expenditure reducing overall, but in terms of discretionary and mandatory grants, would really want to see the increase, which would demonstrate that the projects that we are implementing are being completed. So on the discretionary grants, I think also it can just be linked to one of the points made by the CEO earlier, in that our throughput is at 41%. So that's why in terms of the discretionary grants, our expenditure is so low. In terms of our statutory disclosure, first starting with fruitless and wasteful expenditure, I think in the previous year and the year before, I pleaded with the providers to say, please stop taking us to courts. Let's sit on the table and talk. So at least we're able to reduce the fruitless and wasteful expenditure from 4.2 to 200,000. And that 200,000 as well comes from the financial year 2022-23, based on litigations that were settled then. So thank you for that. I think let's continue. As we are currently confirming, let's agree on a way forward. There's no need to fight. On irregular expenditure, slight decrease from 221 to 193, broken down into two categories relating to supply chain management, 11 million, and on discretionary grant allocations, on expenditure on prior year contracts relating to special projects on 182 million. In the current year, we have developed a criteria that was used, and to talk to the part that the CEO spoke to earlier. Overall audit action plan, as reported earlier, And the next speaker will touch on the outcome or the presentation of the outcome of the Auditor General. My slide will touch more on what are we doing to improve the current audit outcome. The first area with issues was on the annual financial statements and commitments. We have developed an audit action plan. The 4 points will be more of a summary. The first one being the review of our processes, integrating together with operations so that there's synergy in terms of the commencements, the payments, and ultimately the completions. The second one is on the confirmations by providers. We are grateful of the cooperation we've been receiving so far. We have started this process in April. We are continuing. Please bear with us as we continue to ask for additional information that will assist us to make sure that we deal with the issues. And when the DAG performs the confirmations, we are aligned in terms of the information that we have. Because from the previous year, we realized that in most instances, we have differences in terms of the statuses that we had reported on and what you will have as an implementer on your side. So we just want to make sure that the information that we have is aligned to you, and there are no discrepancies or differences. Sometimes it can be due to difference of terminology. The third one is on the quarterly internal audit, where we have expanded the scope of the internal audit to include 100% than the previous sampling methodology, so that all the issues can be attended to. As you can imagine, with a commitment schedule of 4,000 lines, if I'm lucky, they might pick up those that don't have issues, but the AG might pick up those that have issues. That's why we then resolved to let 100% internal audit process. The fourth one is to involve the AG early in the interim audit. We are planning to have the interim audit in February. And lastly, the automation of our processes. As currently it's being managed on Excel, which sometimes fail. So we are in the process of automating those through the upgrade of our financial system, which will go live in January 2025. So we'll be communicating those changes in terms of the invoice management system as well. On performance information, also because of the data integrity issues, strengthening the review of information that is captured, and also have a second level of assurance, fully capacitated to also do 100% than the sampling. And also in this area, an area of automation, where our system can easily communicate with the Department of Home Affairs, so that the errors in the IDs and the names can be addressed as information is captured on the system. The third area is on compliance, which mainly touches on irregular expenditure. The first item is strengthening the review of our processes from when a tender is advertised until a closeout report, supported by policies. So both the SCM policy and the discretionary grant policies are under a robust review at this point. And also the element of automation, because some of the issues come from errors from the providers who are submitting the documents. And the last area is on ICT, overall system upgrades, which will also support all the areas that I've highlighted in black: automation, automation, automation. So automation for this financial year, it will be the buzzword. Internally, we call it SIMS. I think at the beginning I used to struggle, but now I've learned the meaning and also what it means. And the data cleansing project, as we are moving as well, we're experiencing issues in terms of the printing of certification instances where learners would have lost their certificates for us to reprint and all. So we need that data cleansing project, and ultimately the automation of all our systems and the integration. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, CFO. One of the most difficult presentations, I suppose, but very, very important and vital for us to hear. Then the next one, equally so, and of great interest. That's from our audit committee chairperson. I always have the pleasure to work with him and to listen to his wise words in relating to audit. He will give the report of the Auditor General on the Accounting Authority of the Services Seta. Thank you so much, Mr. Rabotata. It's all yours. Thank you. I suppose they're going to give you a mic, a standing mic, or the roving mic. But whatever, I can hear you very clearly. Let's just go. You see, they gave me this Madonna mic because I'm usually too short for a standing mic. The floor is all yours. Thank you, sir. Oh, sorry.
It's off. Okay.
Okay.
Good afternoon, colleagues, the board members, the stakeholders, and the invitees. My presentation won't be that long, but I want to start with a quote that we must always remember by Dale Carnegie. Develop success from failure. And disagreement and failure are two of the surest stepping stones to success. Leadership have said it, where we come from. Sorry, where's the presentation? Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. This presentation was supposed to be done by the AG, but unfortunately, they are unavailable. And as a chair of audit committee, I had to come and make the presentation of the audit outcome for 22-23 financial year. and also to give the stakeholders and the board how did we perform in terms of our year that went by. It will only be focusing on two issues, the audit outcome and the issues that were emanating from the audit outcome. I just want to take you through the journey that we had the past 4 years as the board, from 2021 to 2024. We are on the legacy findings, and we've been qualified on the financial statement and also on the performance information. If you look on the presentation that we were qualified until the 23-24, even the chairperson and the ACO did allude that there was an improvement when we were coming from the 40 to 83%, and which we did achieve the unqualified on the performance information. We need to highlight the issues why we have been qualified, so that colleagues, we can understand. But that does not mean that service Seta is dysfunctional. If one were to look at the performance being qualified over that over 4 years due to the legacy issues, and also the investment that management are putting in through. I think you saw from the CFO about the action plan that they are implementing to address in the current year. And as the board as well, I just wanted to attest to our stakeholders, they are of an interest to ensure that we do improve this audit outcome. In 2021, there were 3 issues that were on qualification: the reconciliation between commitment and the schedules, and also the accounting for rate-based contract and irregular expenditures. And also it goes back to 21-22 financial year, where there was a reconciliation issue as well. The CFO did allude that we're talking about 4,000 line item when we're using Excel. That's where element of error, it might happen. In 2022-23, there was an improvement, but we did not achieve our audit outcome. It was only one issue, the commitment not included in the balance at year end due to the cyber attack. We thought we won the battle, but unfortunately, AG came and said no. Because of the cyber attack, we cannot test the balances. And 23-24, there were 2 issues. The removal of expired contract and conflicting and limitation of confirmation. This limitation, I just want to stress this limitation of confirmation. As management, they will do extensive work, but the stakeholders, they will confirm that no, we don't have any commitment with service Seta. Then now they come AG, they want to do the same confirmation during the audit. The same stakeholders, they come and say, no, service Seta still does have commitment. That's when we have these discrepancies. Sometimes, yes, our partners, you do contribute to this negative outcome. We need to work together to ensuring that we achieve the objective that we desired. And I just want to highlight the issues that that were summarized, that we have been qualified on. On compliance, which is part of the audit action plan that CFO's office do addressing them. There were 6 findings with the result in irregular expenditures. One may think that incurring irregular expenditures, maybe there was a fraud. We can attest that there was no fraud that had undertook in those year of 23-24. And that also, it is a sign of management as well, to ensuring that it's just a irregular, not non-compliance with the relevant legislature. And also it relates to the SCM in terms of the panel evaluation and allocation of special project. And the other matter was on expenditure and the AFS. As soon as you get qualified, automatically you will be non-compliant with GRAP. It's just a default, the way AG, they define it. And also we had the 3 material adjustment, which were being assessed, and also the internal control deficiencies that were noted. With the commitment, this is the elephant in the room. It's everyone's, the whole management, the support staff, and the board. We don't sleep with this commitment. And we are hoping this year, with the work that has been done of doing the 100% clean out, that it will assist in 2024-25 financial year to see the outcome, as that will be a legacy from this board that we left with the improvement. There were 7 issues: conflicting and limitation of confirmation that I did alluded, expired contract, commencement, and the recognition event. Those are some of those issues that also we need to address. And the last one that I think we need to give a credit where it's due is the performance information. That department went extra miles in terms of addressing the issues. There were 7 findings, in which they managed to address during the audit with the AG. And that's why we're able to achieve the unqualified in that 24-25 financial year. And I think that, colleagues, we can give ourselves a good hand of applause, because we do deserve it. That was on the performance information. And for 24-25, we are strictly monitoring the progress to ensure that we do achieve and maintain with what the echo that was meant by the AC, or that we don't go below 80%, as our 80% is our benchmark. And we will be moving with that 80 and above, as you have alluded. I think this was just the summary of the outcome of the 23-24 financial year that we were audited. And I hope, and I'm glad that we can appreciate the effort, the teamwork that the management and the board are putting in place. And we do thank everyone for the support as well. I do thank you.
Thank you very much, Audit Committee Chairperson. That wasn't too painful, wasn't it? It was clear and very decisive. And with that, my role has come to an end. I would like to hand over to my fellow board member, Rendani Dlamini. She's going to take you through the remainder of the program. I'll still be here, and I'll still wave at the very end. Again, I just want to say, do find a moment when all is done to have your makeup done by courtesy of VRV Singh, and don't forget your little goodies bag from Dermalogica. And that's me for this afternoon. Thank you very much. Rendani Dlamini will take over and will take you through the rest of the program. Thank you.
How much was it last year? How much was it last year? Okay, 100 million less. Okay, sure.
Thank you. Ms. Nzimande has already done the introduction. and you've already clapped for me. If I introduce myself, you're gonna have to clap for me again. Should I do that? Well, my name is Rendani Dlamini. I'm a board member, a chairperson of the Cleaning and Hiring Chamber. So I'm gonna continue with where Ms. Nzimande left off. Ms. Mama Bella, are you ready? Are you strapped in? We're gonna now go to the Services Seta Annual Budget and Business Plan by Ms. Mama Bele Motla, Executive Manager, Strategy and Insights. Can we please give her a round of applause? Thank you.
Thank you. Apparently, I'm the reason people are not going for lunch. So it's a difficult one. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. See, Ongat, we must take that lunch. Maybe I'll come after. Good afternoon, stakeholders, honorable stakeholders, the industry, providers, colleges, my accounting authority. I've heard that today may be my last time I'm presenting the plan to this current format of the accounting authority. We really thank you so much for still investing as we were drafting this plan. My presentation will be to share with the stakeholders the plans and the budget as we are finalizing it with the accounting authority in the current format. So the leadership is still committed to ensure that they hand over a sound plan to the next administration. So good day, everyone. Again, let me start with my presentation and thanking my colleagues and the management team, because this plan represents the work that I did through the portfolio, strategy and insights, and the management team. We have closed first year of the NSDP 2030. We are now focusing on the second part of the NSDP. So hence the appreciation of the work that we are doing together as a team. My presentation will be mainly to say, how does our sector look like? Setas by constitution, our business plan starts with the sector skills plan. So we'll be sharing with you what is important for us, and which is gonna be the first three parts. We'll also be sharing with you the strategic focus areas, responsive strategy, how are we going to achieve that, and our plans for the next financial year. We are known to be one of the biggest sitters. We are sitting with plus 193,000 employers in our sector. However, the unfortunate part of it is that only 16% of them are paying levies, meaning that we've got so much work for us, all of us, to do in ensuring that we grow our sector. And we'll achieve that so when we ensure that our employers that are affiliated with us, they've got the capable skills and the workforce so that they can grow in the economy and they can be able to contribute to skills levies. And the sad part of it is that of that 31,000 plus 32,000 of employers paying levies, not more than 5,000 of them are submitting WSPs and ATRs, meaning that not more than 15% of them are active. Because when employers are submitting WSPs and ATR, it means they are active in the skills development landscape. So it is actually, as my CFO said and the CEO mentioned, it is a focus area. Hence, it was important for us to share with you this picture. Our plans is mainly to say we would really like to improve the number of employers participating in our sector skills development landscape. How are we going to do that? So if you take a look at our SSP, it is a very important document in the SETAs, because it's not for, the CEO mentioned, as we appreciate the numbers, we want to make sure that we make impact. So stakeholders, we want to share with you our picture as per the draft sector skills plan. And what is really beautiful, CEO, I want to share is that DHET have issued a circular to say, SETAs, we know you have submitted your final sector skills plan. We are allowing you to align that sector skills plan with your strategic plan and APP. You'll resubmit in Jan. The reason the department has done that, they are saying SETAs align your annual performance plans with the sector skills plan. So hence we need to share this with you. So I'll only highlight a few of the occupations. At the managerial level, we would like to increase the e-commerce managers. We can all see where the world is going in terms of 4IR. And then as e-commerce industry is growing, we are saying as a services sector through our management and business services chamber, we are actually in the process to finalize those qualifications. We would like the country to have e-commerce managers. So from capacity of supply, take note of this as well, because we like our stakeholders, as they apply for accreditations, they must look at the full value chain of the occupations that are in high demand. The other occupation that I would like to share with you is franchise manager. It's an important occupation. Franchising is actually a very important industry. However, franchisors and franchisees will be successful if their franchises have managers. Hence, we've got those occupations. The last one I would like to just highlight is call center manager, contact center. We know very well now we can actually do so much online. So we need to make sure that the contact centers are capacitated. At the next level of the skills, I'm going to share on the professionals. From a professional point of view, we wanted to share this occupation per levels. As CEO indicated, high, intermediate, and elementary, so that you can understand the contribution we need from you as we implement our interventions. From professionals' point of view, we have our real estate and related services chamber. It's growing. We've got a new industry called timeshare. So what we did very with the industry, it was to immediately ensure that as we are realizing that real estate is changing. You don't only have to be buying property the olden way whereby you invest in it. We've got timeshare as a new occupation. Another occupation that I'd just like to share is mainly on multimedia designer, because we can see that life is now more online. So we want to have, working in collaboration with MICT Seta, we want to ensure that from our marketing and communication chamber, we've got multimedia designers in terms of our comms as well. I'm not gonna leave my organized labor through the conciliation and arbitration commissioners. Organized labor is asking to be capacitated. We have a chamber called Labor and Collective Services Chamber. That's where we realize that we need to have more commissioners in the country. Hence, we've got that occupation. On technicians and associate professionals, that's where now you talk about a middle between a technical skills and a soft skills for professionals. We are investing to have more business brokers. Business brokers deliberately from our real estate and related services chamber. Because we know very well that that whole transaction, it needs brokers. Hence, we have that occupation. And we are committed to also improve on the skills for valuers in the country. So take note of this. A valuer, you do have a qualification that is sitting with LG Seta, but it's important for our industry. Hence, we have that occupation. Again, from your clerical support workers, which is then now your intermediate and elementaries, we would like to increase the workforce for the call centers, inbound and outbound. Because now we know very well that we're living, as I said, in the 4-hour space, you can do so much sitting at home or at the office place. But if we're not gonna have enough workforce, it will be a challenge for the e-commerce market. Hence, we have that as a hard-to-fill vacancy. From your services and sales workers, these are your skills that are important in terms of the services element. Crematorian operators. Cremation, it is actually a skill and occupation within our funeral industry. So as a services Seta in the industry, we would like to have more crematorian operators across the provinces. Some provinces don't have cremation services. Hence, we've got that occupation as a hard to fill. And again, your skincare, everyone was talking about how they look good, how everyone is beautiful, because outside there, you've got your skincare therapist, you've got the beauty industry. So we want to ensure that we also increase the capacity there. We have added 2 trades. Services Seta, we only have 1 trade, which is hairdresser. With our personal care chamber, we've got 2 new trades. Please take note of this. Working with NEMP, we now have a new trade called stonemason for all the tombstones that we are using in the funeral industry, as well as coffin maker, because our industry currently is using carpentry qualification for them to do coffins. So we have that as our trades, and then we would like you to work with us as we're going to be delivering these occupations. Elementary skills. We are so excited because when we shared these elementary occupations with community colleges, they were excited to say every village, every township needs a garden worker, needs a laundry worker. So these are the qualifications that we have and they are registered. However, we are sharing them to say they are hard to fill, we will need you to support us. Therefore, when we're going to be talking to our numbers in our annual performance plan, please take note of these occupations, because mainly we need to make sure that we make impact and we address the hard-to-fill skills so that we cannot be in a situation whereby 2 years to come, when Home Affairs issues critical skills, we see some of the occupations that I shared today. Then working with our board, they engaged, actually they had 2 sets of meetings where they then said, management, after you have shared with us the hard-to-fill vacancies, which ones are the board top 10 priorities? So just take note of them. They are already addressed from the hard-to-fill vacancies. However, they had to go through each and every chamber and identify top 10 priority occupations by the board. However, doesn't mean the occupations that are in the hard-to-fill, they are not important. That is, in summary, our sector skills plan. In terms of the hard-to-fill occupations, that we are humbly pleading that let's chase numbers and chase impact on that note. The board then revised their priorities. CEO have shared the board priorities and the chairperson earlier on during his presentation. Priority 1, 3, and 5, they remained. Our board pledged with us to say, management, we are still committed to foster inter-sector collaboration. We don't want the new board to change that priority. We are still committed to work with QC2O, and we are still committed to monitor and evaluate the impact we are making. Hence, priority 1, 3, and 5 remained. We only introduced priority 2 and 4, which is mainly talking to what the CFO was saying and the CEO, to say that as I have shared the picture of our occupations, we are also saying, let us make sure that we will be implementing them, because when we do that, we will be digitizing our sector, and we will also be ensuring that we are adopting the technological changes. Hence, it's a board priority. Priority 4 was introduced, aligned with what the CEO shared, in mention to say that for us to actually grow our growth, our economic growth for our services sector, we need to ensure that we are deliberate in terms of SMME development. Hence, we've got that priority. So those are the board 5 priorities for the next 5 years, which will be monitoring them and implementing them through our strategic plan and the annual performance plan. That concludes our first strategic document, which is the sector skills plan. Again, then, I'm not going to talk to the vision, mission, values, because CEO have shared what we have done when we reviewed this. These plans that I'm sharing today are aligned with the medium-term development plan that is just been finalized together with Department of Higher Education, and which is a very important government document, together with the master skills plan, and as well as the human resource development strategy of the country. In doing so, what we have done as management, we then reviewed our impact statement. Our impact statement for the next 5 years, as I indicated, we are committed to not only a competitive workforce, but entrepreneurship that can drive sustainable and inclusive economic growth. So that is the impact statement as revised by this board for the next 5 years. From our 4 outcomes in our strategic plan, as a reminder, strategic plan is a 5-year document. It's outcome 1, which was mainly an introspection. Outcome 1 talks to our program 1, which is administrative, but then the commitment is for us to ensure that our organization has a capable and ethical workforce. This talks mainly to most of the plans that CFO has shared during his presentation. And some of them are already embedded in the audit action plans that we're working on. The outcome 2 and outcome 3 and 4, we kept them the same because we believe that we are still implementing the National Skills Development Plan 2030. Hence, we don't have much changes on that regard. Outcome 1 is the one that is talking to priority 3 of the medium-term development plan, which says that we need to ensure that we've got capable, ethical, and developed state. Hence, as a Seta, we then said, let us ensure that we do that by starting with our own program 1, which is mainly an administrative program. From the 4 outcomes, as per the strategic plan, you need to have your outcome indicators, which are 5-year plans. I'll only share the changes from the current strategic plan. We know that we've been receiving qualified audit opinions for the past 4 years, but the board said we are still committed in ensuring that come 2030, we've got a clean audit outcome. So hence that 5-year target. And earlier on, CEO mentioned the fact that we have our internal challenges, we have our intention to review our own processes, hence we are committed to have effective performance management is an internal target so that we can be able to service you. We are committed to ensure that we improve our stakeholder climate. We want our stakeholders to be happy and to be part of our delivering of this mandate. Hence, we targeted 80%, come the next 5 years, at least 80% of the stakeholders, they must be happy with us as an organization. Those are the 3 highlights I wanted to highlight. Outcome 2, CFO said my colleague will come and will tell you the plans for our WSPs. I've shared with you that we are not looking good there. We would like more employers to submit their work skills plans. It is a research tool. When employers submit their WSPs, we get to know the occupations that are critical for their businesses. So we are committed to say, in 5 years' time, we had a debate with the accounting authority. They said 10% is not enough. We are committed that, earlier on I said 39,000 are paying levies. Currently, around 4,500 are submitting. Let us increase that number. We know that it's going to be hard for us to exceed 8,000. But then from that 39,000 that are paying levies, let's just have 10% increase to the 4,000. And that will be efforts from employer companies and organized labor and professional bodies. We need the industry to change that picture. So that is the biggest change in terms of this outcome. And the other indicator that we actually, when we were discussing the research agenda, has been increased, is to increase focus on industry-focused research studies with industry for industry. Because then when you don't have a focused research, you may be having interventions that are not well informed. Hence, we have a target of 5 years target though. So this will be split over 5 years. It's not a 1-year target. From the outcome 3, from the skills point of view, supporting the CEO's message, we are committed. Our current year target for the first 5 years was to have 3,500 entrepreneurs supported and co-ops, including NGOs and startups. For the next 5 years, we increased that to say, let us increase it with 1,500. At least let us support and make an impact to at least 5,000 of our sector entrepreneurs, co-ops, and NGOs and startups. From the learner enrollments, we have committed to achieve 65,000 in these 5 years because we were affected by COVID. So for the next 5 years, we are committed to enroll at least 75,000 over 5 years. From the throughput, CFO mentioned that, and CEO, that our throughput across our intervention is not looking good. And as a result, it's affecting our completions. By default, it's going to affect absorption. And by default, it's going to affect the skills that industry is looking for or employers are looking for. So we are calling up to you to say, providers, employers, and everyone, we need your help. We really need to improve our throughput rate. We need to be seeing more learners completing programs. We need to see more learners finding employment through our interventions. We need to actually do this for the country. On that note, and then not only to be able to claim your DG claims or DG expenditure as the CFO indicated, but so that operations and they can be able to successfully complete projects. On that note, we committed to improve our throughput rate. Our work now as management and with you is to say how are we going to make sure that we achieve that. Outcome 4 on the SP, the only interventions I want to share is the change, is outcome 4.2. CEO mentioned that we are transitioning to occupational qualifications. We want to ensure that we improve our turnaround time to build capacity for all types of quality assurance, accreditations, approval of workplaces, approval of subject matter experts, approval of the providers, approval of your assessment centers, so that we ensure that we call upon you to apply for those capacity of supply activities, but we are also committing to ourselves to improve our turnaround time. Hence, we have that as an outcome, which in our previous 5 years, we didn't have it. That is, in summary, our strategic plan for the next 5 years, which you can hold us accountable, because from 25-26, we'll be implementing that and we'll be monitoring that yearly. From the strategic plan, you then have your APP. Our APP currently, okay, I also see Chinese CEO. So the 4 outcomes are aligned to our 4 indicators. Program 1, which is administrative, is currently sitting with 8 indicators. Program 2, skills planning, is currently having 12 indicators, is remaining the same. Program 3, core 1, as the CEO indicated, it has 30 indicators, which are aligned with our service level agreement with DHEAD. It will be remaining with that. Program 4, which is quality assurance, is the work we do with QC2O, but with you for QC2O, in line with the SLA that we have with QC2O. We've added that indicator, which we didn't have it in the past, accreditations. So that commitment of 80% turnaround time, we find it also in the APP. On that note, we've only increased that program with 1 indicator. It previously had 2 indicators. We now have 1 additional indicator that we'd like you to be considering. As I indicated, we cannot achieve this if, as an organization, we don't have key performance areas, which are our strategic pillars. My colleagues have spoken to this. I don't have to be sharing on this, but we are saying to you, we are deliberate on the how. Are we going to then achieve all these plans? Importantly for me is to say, with our people, which is our staff and every employee in the organization, hence we have a key performance area called our people. Developing them, supporting them, capacitating them, making sure that they are part of the full business process as well. The rest of the key performance areas, CFO touched on them. One thing I just want to highlight on organizational performance is not only about achieving the numbers, but as well as making the impact. Hence we have organizational performance as a key performance area. Now, numbers. I'm saying numbers as a now, then after, because of the numbers must align with the strategy being shared earlier. When we looked in terms of our unemployed-related interventions, which includes internships and candidacies, we have not really been much big on candidacy programs due to the nature of our sector. But as we will be working closely with professional bodies, we believe that we're going to improve on the candidates that we will be producing, because they are required from a technical and professional level. So at overall, our unemployed targets, we've only increased it with about 10%, plus 1,200 from this year's base to next year. I'll only talk to the bottom line. This presentation will be shared in terms of which interventions. CEO directed us to say, this issue of youth that are graduates and are not working, it's sad. Seta, can we please look into your internship targets? And this was aligned, CEO, with what they had requested us when they were reviewing our draft plan. From the employed, we've increased our employed target. Percentage-wise, is very high. We were having a target of around 3,004 for employed interventions, but because we are deliberate to upskill and reskill our workforce, it has increased with about more than 30% for the employed learnership skills programs, bursaries, and ensuring that we give aid to our employed workforce. The budget there, I'm gonna share the budget overall, however, note the budget at the end there. Our highest budget is actually on the unemployed, around 990 million. For the employed interventions, we budgeted around 80 million. Interesting one is on our artisanal and ARPL and RPL as CEO indicated due to the nature of our sector. We've increased there, mainly with around 6%. The reason we have not increased much on full-time 3 years or 2 years artisanal program is because of we want to invest on artisanal, us recognizing the artisans that have the prior learning. Mainly on those trades that I've shared, stonemason, coffin maker, and our hairdresser. Because we know very well that we do have those that are working in that space, but they don't have the qualification. Hence, we have that ARPL and RPL as a focus. And we also increase our targets mainly on bursaries. So our overall budget is around 470 million. At overall, as I indicated, we are increasing our focus on entrepreneurial development, hence the 23% increase, mainly on SMME and as well as on emerging co-ops and emerging entrepreneurs. Our overall budget there is 12 million. The reason it's lower is because of we've got a capable in-house entrepreneurship and cooperative development unit. Even at the summit, we were actually, the integrated summit, we were at the Seta that we were engaging a lot in that cohort. So this budget is mainly to support what we are already doing in-house through our e-learning platform. From the strategic interventions that we have set budget aside for the qualifications development, set budget for the occupational directed interventions, because we want to ensure that we'll transition and we'll implement the qualifications that we are developing. Hence, we've got that budget. CEO shared the centers and the chairperson that we have developed, the Mkuze and the ones that we have launched. So we are still committed to have infrastructure development support, because for you to increase access, you need to ensure that there's infrastructure. Hence, we have that intervention. The Seta is committed to support public college systems. Hence, we've set budget aside to support TVET colleges, universities, and have CSI-related interventions. Hence, the budget on the strategic initiatives, which CEO also confirmed earlier on to say they are special and they are strategic, because as a country, we need to be that deliberate. At overall, I know you can't see the amount there. At overall, our budget has increased with about 300 million to 1.8 billion. We are not happy to be increasing it. The reason for the increase is mainly because of we are not spending, as what the CFO mentioned earlier. So we are asking you to support us in implementing the project's full value chain so that we can conclude our projects, close them, you claim, and then we can ensure that we don't sit with this high budget because of our current spending not being as we had projected. On that note, this is our budget for enrollments. The picture that is not looking good for us was mainly on our projections for completions. This picture is because of the pipeline of projects that are not closing, and then we are asking you to work with us for us to be more effective on our projects. So based on our draft plans, we were dropping on completion targets, but that's not the picture that the industry is looking for. So we are planning, as CEO, chairperson, and my colleagues have mentioned on how much we are focusing on improving our completions and throughput. Hence that picture where this is the only regression we have. And then we believe that we need to change it. And if the feedback we got from DHEAD, They were not happy with the reduction on completions, but it's a matter that is still under evaluation. That concludes the annual performance plan, and this concludes my presentation. Thank you so much for being patient with me.
Thank you so much, EM. Before we move on, I just want to read a few comments. I'm very short. Or I'm getting short these days as I'm growing. We've got a few comments from our colleagues online. They were sent a bit earlier, but I'm just going to read them as they are. We've got Asula Jackson. I hope I said your name right. I am in property development for 2 years and would like to offer my service to train. This comment is made on the Linked platform. We would welcome that offer. Thank you. And then there's another comment from Kabo M. I'm not sure which item on the program she was commenting on, but it says very insightful. So it means everything was just insightful. I'm just going to take it like that. And then we've got Nare Williams Matloa. Informative indeed. That is the comment. So I'm glad that those who are online and media platforms, they are following, they are with us. They don't do what I do sometimes, I just go online and then clean the house while online. I'm joking. And then we've got Janine, who said, good morning, everybody from Joburg, JBH Consulting, also based in Cape Town. It's afternoon now, that must have been earlier on. And also Williams was saying warm greetings from Cape Town, Swift Skills Academy. So thank you for those comments, keep them coming. I'm also gonna request those online and media platforms to start typing your questions, because we are about to approach that soon, so that we don't delay and I'm able to read them out. We get the answers from the relevant people. Mr. Dinwa, who's our acting CEO today, demotion, sorry, who's our acting chairperson. I just wanted to check if you are still with us, but that smile tells me that you heard me. We're now gonna move to adoption of the Services Seta annual budget and plan. Stakeholders, this is the time where we get to participate. I'm gonna hand over to our acting chairperson for the day.
Our dear stakeholders, are we still around? Oh, yes. Are we still around? Okay. Appreciate that you've been so patient with us until this very important moment. Valuable stakeholders, we have had a presentation from our EM strategy and insights on a business plan and a budget to support that business plan for 2025-26. Now, this is your opportunity to express your motion on that business plan and the budget. So it means we are going to allow you to move and second the adoption. But when doing that, let's approach it in this way. You are going to raise your hand, state your name and surname, stakeholder formation that you represent, and then you state your motion. I'm in your hands. Stakeholders, I see a hand right there from the far right hand corner. Over to you, dear stakeholder. Do we have a roving mic, colleagues?
Greetings, everyone. My name is Pam Taylor. I'm from Dr. Taylor Foundation. Our organization is a community-based organization. I always attend these meetings, but then I always fail to get into QCTO, because it's like you must start there first, register to them, then you get apply for accreditation with Seta. Like now, I wonder if we could be assisted on like how to register, because I got so much trainings in the community for youth, but I have to refer them. That means I just recruit and refer them to the people who are accredited already. Thank you.
Colleagues, stakeholders, I think what our dear stakeholders is asking, it will be covered under questions and answers, which is going to come later in the program. For now, we are looking for your motion on whether you adopt the business plan and the budget for 2025-26. I've seen a hand in the middle row, yes.
My name is Jeremiah. My surname is Steinsma. I'm from the Business Plan Advice Office. I move adoption of the business plan and the budget.
Yes, there's stakeholder Jeremiah moving for adoption of the business plan and the budget. Do I hear or identify a seconder? I've seen a hand here, just here.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, Sabona, as we say in KwaZulu-Natal. So I propose for what has been said in the AGM this morning, and I'm sure there is someone that will second me on this. And I'm from the Golden Scissors Academy.
Okay, dear stakeholder, can we get your name, your stakeholder formation, and express?
I'm Shalini Singh from the Golden Scissors Academy. We do hairdressing. So yes, that is, I'm proposing for this whole AGM and what it has been discussed.
Thank you, colleagues. Can we give that a big round of applause? Thank you, Program Director. Our business plan and budget have been supported. Thank you. Duly adopted.
Thank you so much, stakeholders. There's an item that we must go to now, which we're going to skip because the head is not here. Thank you. Okay. Can we move to questions and answers? I'm not sure if we have any questions online yet and the social media platforms. If not, we already have a question from, oh, she left the room, from one of the stakeholders there at the back. I'm going to give it to Ms. Motla to respond. after I've taken some of the questions in the room, I'm gonna allow hands. Maybe because there's no question on the media platform, I'm gonna allow the first round to be at least 5 hands. There's a hand there. Please take note of the questions. I won't be able to write them.
Hi, so I have 5 questions actually.
5 questions.
5 questions which I've been writing since.
Is it from all the 5 stakeholders that I said I'm going to give a chance to?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so
you can go ahead.
So one has already been answered by Andile Sepengani. So the second question is about bursaries. Is this open to SMEs as well, besides universities? And then I want to know, why was the artisan department dissolved? The third thing was, what is the difference between the DG expenditure admin and the admin expenditure? And I would like to know, why is there a delay in the trade test certifications? Because I have certifications outstanding from 2022, and I've asked the certification department about this, and I don't get any feedback from them.
Those were short. Thank you. Any other questions? All comments. We can comment about the reports that we got. Stakeholders can make comments on that also. But for now, I'm going to allow the EM to respond together with the other executives. And the CEO is also in the house, so we'll be able to get all the answers. I'll take the online questions and comments after we have responded to the questions in the room.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think they already stepped out on the question on the accreditation process. I think what is important with occupational quals, not clearly sure on whether is the misdirection to say where do you start on when you apply. However, what we have done, we've done capacitation workshops for stakeholders together with QC2O. As you apply through the QC2O, and they'll allocate to the respective seaters, and then we can confirm that actually in terms of the accreditation submitted to us, we are doing very well in our turnaround times as a services seater. However, can I request that the specific stakeholder who's been waiting for the accreditation, after, as we take lunch break, you give us your details, because then we all understand the fact that there is a significant increase on the applications for the accreditation, and we take that into account, but then we'll then be able to deal with that. I'm with my colleagues here, Mr. Mkwena, Tebelo Mkwena. He's the senior manager quality assurance, so the accreditation department reports to him. I'm also with Nomfezo Govendle, who's senior manager from a qualifications development. So can I request that then we deal with specific stakeholder queries on accreditation CO? But then it does not have to stop now. You'll assist by actually sharing contacts on the charts for the stakeholders that have accreditation-related queries, so that we can be able to attend to that. And then the second one, CO, was on bursaries for SMME. Industry will be happy to hear that the board has reviewed our bursaries policy, mainly to say our bursaries for the unemployed, we are implementing it internally through our bursaries department, with the universities and TVET in partnership with them. So if then there's an SMME who has certain learners, CO, or there is a community organization that has learners that are in seek of bursaries, we're working directly with universities, but you can be in touch with our bursaries team. There's Mapiti here and Mr. Bly that they are working in the bursaries department. So that is for if you want to have a group of learners for unemployed. But then for the employed, we are actually having our plan is to have multiple interventions to upskill our employers as well on bursaries. So I'm not sure, ma'am, that it's mainly on the employed or unemployed, but we can then engage after this. If for the unemployed, you can engage with Mapiti and Mr. Ply. And then for the employed, you can engage with Nomfeso Govendle and myself, mainly to say, CEO, for which occupations that are in need of bursaries for the employed, so that we can be able to upskill our sector. CEO, I thought I could do the 2 questions.
Just to add on the criteria, especially for the employed bursaries, we would like to have people that are registered with any public institution already, so that we can even include them into our targets for this current financial year. So why universities? Because we are paying direct to the university. So they must give us the tuition fees, outstanding, and we take it from there. And the person should have not been funded in the form of a bursary prior this application, and they've received some bursary, but you want this bursary as a top-up. So we want people that have not benefited from a bursary. Ideally, it's great to have people that are already registered with a university. In the application, the requirement will be you submit the university you are enrolled for, the amount that is being owed, and then we pay direct and liaise with the university for agreements to be signed off between the university, ourselves, and the learner. Thank you. The other area that Lizelle will have to cover, indeed, is a very good question. The delays in certification from trade testing to NAMB to QCTO has been a problem that we have been experiencing, in particular as Service Seta. I'm not sure about other Setas. But there is work that is happening in that regard. But it's a very important question.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Charlene, thanks for the question. I think it's always good to ask these questions. They seem challenging, but if you don't know the answer, then it's really hard to get around and support it. So it's not so much as disintegrating or disbanding or whatever the terminology is, it's rather reintegrating. So in operations, we have so many business processes that I think there isn't even a good awareness of. And we want to incentivize investment and skills development beyond discretionary grants, you know. So we're busy reviewing all of our business processes and operations, and we reintegrated trades into all of them. Trades is but one learning program. As you know, we have learnerships, we have not just apprenticeships, we have RPL, now there's ARPL that we're expanding our targets to in a very serious way. We've got skills programs, we've got internships, and there's 4 different internship categories. So our business processes support all of those learning programs. And remember, it's QCTOs is for trades and occupations, so it's all integrated. We believe that there's similarities in terms of the competencies and the business processes across all the learning programs, and it just makes more sense. There are some differences, and we need to accommodate them, and we're busy mapping all of that, which we're super excited about, because it's going to form the basis of what the CFO was talking about in terms of our objective around automation. A system doesn't develop your process. Your process has to inform the design of a system. And I think that's where we've had some of the stumbling blocks, where we end up with systems that don't really talk to what we need. And that's something that we're super excited to address, and we'll start seeing some real changes. The most exciting recent change was the deployment in the LMIS of the API link with Home Affairs. And so that we can start, it's like literally a week. We initially deployed it, had to pull it back, make some updates, and then we've redeployed it. So there's a lot of things that we want to do differently to automate, not just to save time and money for us, but also for the stakeholders that are working with the system. So just, I'd like to just quickly highlight that, you know, trades doesn't just, or apprenticeships doesn't just sit with in a unit that deals with workplace approval. There's accreditation, there's assessment center accreditation. There is employer-funded skills development, which also processes employer-funded funding into apprenticeships, not just learnerships. So there's been a massive expansion there. Mandatory grants includes apprenticeships. Discretionary grants as a unit does the enrollment and needs to exit. So, you know, we had that old progression model on apprenticeships, which also wasn't working well. So now we comply with the regulated norm of issuing one learning program. You get 206,290 per learner, and you have that funding in 4 tranches over the years that you're implementing. So I think I've seen a lot of improvement in how we're approaching trades, and I think we need to continue with that. So for me, it actually increases the capacity and it just streamlines it. But please forgive us while we're doing this change. You know, sometimes there are some hiccups. People don't like change by nature. Most people fear change, they don't embrace change. So we've had a little bit of challenges in terms of the integration of the human resources. We have recognized that there's I want to say not a backlog, but to explain this, I'm going to say a current backlog. And we're getting some additional fixed-term resources to help us address that as we're deploying the staff into the right places. So we know that it's had an impact on our stakeholders, but I think it's a short-term impact and it's going to really turn it around. Obviously, when you're doing business process design and development, the intention is to have improvements, but if you know it's not working, you have to change it, and so we will continually reassess. The intention is to get the optimal use of our resources and speed in terms of turnaround time and greater certainty for our stakeholders. I think it's very frustrating when stakeholders don't get answers and we haven't empowered our people to be able to give them. So I think it's through the business process objectives that we're putting for ourselves that we're starting to see some changes. We've finalized our DGLP, so Discretionary Grant Learning Program SOP, and we've started capacitating stakeholders. So I think batch 1 that was mentioned, those 42 entities are going to come into a DG compulsory briefing session, and it's going to be on our new integrated SOP. So we have to take all of our practices, all of the changes that we make in relation to audit findings, and we have to consolidate it into a document, basically, with annexures in one place that everyone can have access to. And I think that's where we're going with all of our business processes. I think Mama Bele has already spoken to the accreditation, but that also falls under my scope. Tabelo is here, so you're welcome to speak to him. Again, it's about change. The transition to occupational qualifications, we know specifically for SDPs, it's changing your entire business model, you know, and you don't always know where to go to and who to go to. There are capacitation sessions, but again, the SOP that my team is busy working on, because of the extension of historical qualifications, what we call external moderation certification for historical qualifications is still going to be around for a good number of years. So we're strengthening that business process as well as the system. And then we're starting to look to the new, the learner assessment, the ASA. You know, what is that? How does that happen? What is the process? What is our role? What is the QCTO's role? How do we map it in a one-page picture? I love one-page pictures because they speak volumes, and they demystify complexity and make it simple for you to be able to engage with, and that's where we're going to. So I hope we'll have probably no more than 10 one-page pictures that will explain to a novice what Setas do. So give us a few months, we're getting there. But yeah, it's a lot of critical thinking, a lot of problem solving, and your feedback and engagement with us has been absolutely instrumental in helping us to understand what we need to do differently. I'm so passionate, as you can hear. I can talk a lot, but I'm going to pause there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for those questions and their responses. We've got a few questions also online. Before I... Oh, you still need to respond? Sorry. CFO. Chelete ya rena bathong. Re ka se holy board members, I'm sorry. The CFO needs to talk.
Thanks, Program Director. The question was in relation to the difference between DG admin and the normal admin. grant regulations prescribes limits for different expenditure streams. From the 1% levy that we get, there's a portion that goes to mandatory grants, there's a portion that goes to discretionary grants, and there's a portion that is pure for admin expenses, the 10.5. So the admin expenses is the 10.5, and then within the 49.5, there's a 7.5 that can be used for admin to support implementation of discretionary grants. That's what we would call the DG admin. That's the 7.5. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to read out the questions that we're getting online. And please, online, write the questions. Don't raise your hands because we're not taking hands. We're only reading out from the comments, from the chat box. Here's a question from Tuto. What are the reasons behind services providers not claiming? Are there any strategies in place to improve this situation? Please note it. How does one get access? I'm not sure access to what exactly, but maybe executive, because they're very smart, they can figure that out and respond. Another one from Nobom says the budget shared on bursaries was helpful, but there is no advert yet for application for 2025. Another one from Busisiwe, by when we should expect the communication from the DG team. Then another one from Madam says, when is your opening? Okay, when is your window opening? I'm just gonna correct that for you. Hopefully I'm not messing it up. When is your window opening for the employed bursary? Does a candidate apply directly to the services Seta or via employer? I hope I'm not too fast. We're gonna take this one that says, do the Seta allocation have age limit for those who want to enroll at the TVET college? And is there any clear indication where one can access the opportunity offered by the sector? I'm gonna post there and then we're just gonna check for more questions online. You may respond, executives.
Thank you for the questions from stakeholders. Let me start with the easy ones. The bursary for the employed. The time is now. It's open even now. But please assist us by ensuring that you liaise directly with the bursary department that will provide you with all the necessary documents that are required that you should complete. But I would appreciate people that have already secured spaces with institutions in the form of being registered, not somebody who is still planning to enroll in 2025. If you are already enrolled with a university, you need bursary, then forward to us your details directly to Service Seta. With all that evidence, proof of registration, tuition amount that is owed, and your study field, like your help me here with English, like your field of study. You are in commerce, you are doing a degree, a diploma, that kind of detail. That's bursaries. The contact people, it's Mapitsi, who is here now, as well as Nico, people that are dealing with bursaries, and Mr. Bly. And I think we'll just have to share their contact details in the form of emails so that you can email your request. When is the next window opening? Window opening is informed and guided by the performance status of the organization. Like, if now the board can realize that there is a need that is aligned to our annual performance targets, as an example, or there is a need that is guided and informed by the national priority areas from our government, that then would require the Seta to address that, or there are gaps that are being identified. As I was making an example, for instance, of some of the areas that need to be addressed, ARPL, your candidacy, and all that. So when analysis of performance is being done, and to what extent the DGs that were opened and closed have assisted the organization in closing the gaps, but there are still some gaps identified, that then informs the opening of the DG window. I hope my colleagues will assist in case there's some further clarification in this regard. I think Lizelle will address the other ones.
Lizelle, please try to be short.
I will, thank you. I can't answer the access one because there's access to a lot of business processes, but I'm going to think it's about DG. And I think our CEO has spoken a little bit about that. What I wanted to say is when will you get communication from the DG team? If you've been issued with an offer letter, you should receive an email inviting you to a compulsory briefing session. It's a starting point in our business process. And it's really important that we present the SOP. This is the SOP, by the way. And there's a whole lot of annexures that we have in the SOP. Here's a list of annexures which we've separated into internal, external. Tools that we've developed that will help you in the planning and the initiation of your project. So it's really important that entities attend that. Our turnaround time for that is 5 working days. So we want to have these compulsory briefing sessions within 5 working days. And so if you're not receiving the information, the manager who many stakeholders know well is Shireen Raju, and she's still there and she should be the one issuing those invitations or within her team. So I request that you reach out to her. Just in terms of the age limit, I think there is a request that if a learner is over 65 years, that in the learner affidavit they indicated, came out in a recent audit finding, and we said let's strengthen our learner affidavit and request that the learner actually state what benefit they're going to have from doing the qualification if they're over 65, because I do believe there's a lot of benefit. Not everybody can afford to retire, and they've still got a lot of value and skills to offer. So I think we've just asked to then capture that in the affidavit. We have had some challenges with learners that are under 18, and some of them have left school. So we similarly would like that to be clarified in terms of the value and the need for the learner to access the program, so that we can just deal with that come audit. I mean, outside of bursaries, I think the intention is to allocate grants to entities, which we call lead employers, and it's the lead employer then that has the obligation to recruit learners. I think people were asking a few questions about that. I think the only issue, the last issue I'll respond to was around how do we assist entities to claim. We have noticed that entities are not claiming. We've done some root cause analysis, and sometimes we get the consequence and we don't know the real root cause behind the consequence. But we suspect that if entities have not been maintaining attendance registers or any of the supporting documentation that they've needed to in the course and scope of implementation, then they don't submit their invoice. And now they don't know what to do. We also know that one of the issues is if they've used some of the stipend money for non-stipend costs, paying their SDPs and so on, then they also feel stuck and don't know what to do. So they do nothing, and the problem doesn't go away. So what we need to do is we need to sit together and we need to chart a way forward. We want you to invoice. We want to ensure that learners exit and projects closed. So please engage with me and my team members. I'll direct you. Let's sit together. Let's try and help you find a solution We are not in the business of making profit, we're in the business of developing skills. So please help us to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Are all the questions covered? Thank you. Yeah, if today was Sunday and we're in church, I was gonna say uyavuga umoya online, because questions are just pouring in now. There's a question from Audrey that says, "Hi everyone, I wish to put my biggest concern, which is, how can the SETAs promote their qualifications to be also considered as pure, authentic qualifications? Because out there, the society still believes that only university qualifications are the ones." And then it says, another one from Faith, "Thank you, Services Seta." This is a comment. "Thank you, Services Seta. We are seeing the improvements, especially turnaround times on external moderations and certificates. Much appreciated." Thank you for that comment. Faith says, "Can we get more workshops to capacitate us on the QCTO processes for our sector's qualifications? We welcome the feedback from all speakers." Thank you. Itumeleng, "I have applied for DG, SP1 and SP2 and had submitted documents on due diligence request and no response to date. When are we going to know whether we are successful or not?" Kodisang, "Why does the SETA insist on increased numbers for unemployed while not correcting the reason for high dropout rates in the program?" I hope you, okay. Last two, and then we are done. It says, "Will SETA backlot entities be able to invoice on the IMS before the 6th deadline? I have for a month been told that the contract will be extended so that I can claim the last tranche. How," and then another one from Tokozani, "How to apply for Services SETA funding for the services, for the in-service training?" That is it for now. I'm trying to push that at least by 2:00 we are done, because we delayed. Some of us, like me, have medical conditions, as young as I am. I see there's a hand. Okay, I'm gonna take that question.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity. Mine is a short one. Are there any programs that are focused on SMME development within the Services SETA? Maybe this crossed my mind. And as providers in this field, how do we engage with SETA in this regard? Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any other hands. I'm closing the questions, unless if there's a question that already came through while we were talking. I'm not gonna sideline it, but if there is nothing, we are closing the question session after the responses. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's not a response as such, but it's just to request to marketing that he captures all these questions that have come from a virtual platform as well as here. We may not answer everything here now. However, if we've got contact details of those people, let's just facilitate through marketing to have email addresses, and others will respond in writing to various individuals that have asked questions. Perhaps it will be great if we can cut it off now so that we allow the few questions that at least we do have immediate responses thereof for executives to address them. But we request that should there be still further questions, can then those be channeled through marketing so that they get to the relevant departments, and some people who are not necessarily there are in office to give more succinct and specific responses. Let me start with Mama Bele to address a few that she has to.
Thanks, CEO. It's more on the excitement on the first question. How are we going to promote our occupations? Today, I was deliberate, hence I wanted to discuss the sector skills plan for us to promote our occupations. Number two, we are continuously having capacity workshops on the Seta occupations and the qualifications. So when we share that, I think we will be using the contact details that we've RSVP'd. We will share that information with you. But then we also have a project with the CEO and the board to work with TVETs and CETs in implementing the occupational qualifications. So we were deliberate. We want the CETs to implement our NQF level 1 to 3 on our occupational qualifications and TVETs on our qualifications, and they have responded to our expression of interest because we want to address that issue of public college systems and universities. Lastly, CEO, please, stakeholders, use the sector skills plan. That is the document that is going to educate you and capacitate you on the qualifications that we have in the sector. So I think that's all from my side on the qualifications, and we are committed to promote our occupations.
Just to encourage, the other important tool to access more information, especially, Sisi, when you were asking about SMME access to information and support, our website does direct into some specific areas. And what I like about it, it also have got names of key people in various departments with their email addresses that you can then directly solicit your request on some information.
Otherwise we'll use.
Thank you.
Otherwise. Very
Uh, Thanks. On the issue of invoices and the cutoff on the 6th, there will not be an extension. However, we can deal with the one-on-one exceptions. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. I've been mic'd up. Thank you so much. I'd like to say thank you to my co-presenter, Rendani.
Hijacked.
You were hijacked. But I thought it was important because it's our last AGM. And thank you, all the executives, for answering the questions. Thank you for supporting us to make these 5 years one of the most memorable 5 years that I've spent. We started during COVID. So, and I always want to say that because it's the weirdest thing that after 2 years being online and in your bedroom, really, then we all of a sudden had to meet each other, meet the board members, but also meet our executives and meet our staff. I think that is very, very important. So the executive we got to engage with quite often, but it took quite a while for us to get to know the staff at the Services Seta. And it was very nice when we met them for the first time all in one big space. Was it last year? So that was, it was nice. It was a bit embarrassing because they knew us and we didn't know them. But for those who are online and who are going to watch this exciting AGM video later, thank you so much. But with that, we're going to open for the vote of thanks. But we'd like to say a big thank you to 2 of our elders who have been with us during the 5 years. They're with us here today. They always are with us. I'm going to say thank you very much, Miss Gogo. There she is. For guiding us.
Please don't cry.
For sometimes scolding us during the 5 years, but for being a mother and being our elder. So we felt really that we needed to pay you this respect. Thank you so much. Can I respond? Yes, you may.
I'm also grateful.
Should have mic'd you up.
Thank you.
Shadrach.
Thank you for this. I think we're also grateful that we've been part of this journey for the 5 years. And thank you for making me fresh and keep me on my toes and allow me to be a mother, like you say, in the group. And thank you to my other members, that have been part of this journey with us, the experience that we got, and the way you've leveraged on what we are all sharing. And thank you to the EMs. I use the first name to them, and I know that we shouldn't be doing that, but on a first name calling, advantage of being a grown-up. And thank you to some of the members that we've invited each time we have the AGMs, especially from other cities. I see the chairperson of MI City. He's also my homeboy. Sorry if I didn't see the others, but I'm also grateful on how this journey has been elevated with the spiritual that we all have and we bring on the table. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. You can announce our paparazzi.
The next elder that we want to appreciate and thank you so much. You know, I believe I'm the loudest. And you always find a way to say, boss lady, come down, come down, come down. And I'm not sure if you're coming back next year, but we're really gonna miss you. The random pictures that you always take of us, the advices that you know, I always preach consequence management, but he's the one who always says, no, man, this thing of consequence management is too much. We shouldn't go there, you know? So we're really gonna miss you a lot if you're not coming back, and we really appreciate you. The time that we spent, I don't wanna make you cry, but we really, really enjoyed every moment, and we hope it's not gonna end in this room. We'll continue to keep in touch going forward. Thank you, Papa. You can, can stand so that they can just give you a hand of applause, please.
And he's gonna give the word of thanks, so.
And please come forward and close the program for us. Vote of thanks. Please keep it short, we're hungry.
Okay.
Thanks, boss lady.
Ah.
My remarks are, I've never seen somebody 48 years called an elderly. This matter needs to be investigated, full stop. On a very serious note, there are two people in the room here, a lady and a gentleman. They come from my hometown. And each time I'm requested to speak in church, hardly 2 minutes, they sing a song and block me out. I was invited to speak at a funeral. Hardly 2 minutes, they sing a song. I went out to warn them that we are not in church here. We are not at a funeral here. They must not sing that song that I know. They showed me this program that you are given from 12:25 to 12:30, 5 minutes. And I look at the rest of the speakers here. The first one is 30 minutes, is 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 25 minutes, and 5 minutes for me. That matter needs investigation as well. Now, I have not even started thanking people. The 5 minutes is gone. And I hope those people will not sing. This is Durban, the home of the Inkabis. Watch out. Thank you very much, program directors. I saw transformation on display. Congratulations. I will not go the similar route I normally take when I do my vote of thanks, because I respect the 12:25 to 12:30. I will thank the program directors. I will thank the people that were acknowledged, special guest, MIC Seta Board Chair, Mr. Tobela, eThekwini Municipality, Mr. Kakaza, for gracing the occasion. Thank you very much. The chair, the acting chair, who I wish could be the chair going forward, made a general overview of the achievement made. He touched on reducing the overcommitments. He talked about strategic plan and its 5 priorities and many other issues. Thank you very much for highlighting all those to us, acting chair. The CEO, who is also the acting CEO, we are in the theater here. I wish when adverts are made, you'll apply and become authentic full-time CEO and remove that acting part of it. Mr. Spengani shared the vision for South Africa future. He spoke about organizational performance. He indicated that we started at 40% and ended up, as I talk, to 80% plus. Great improvement. He spoke about industry-relevant skills that are required. He spoke about the impact we made through skills development. He further spoke about partnership, collaboration and cooperation, learning programs and the TVETs, ARP with emphasis, formal qualification to address social justice. The highlights: 170% bursaries allocated. I repeat, 170% bursaries allocated. Oh, I thought you'll clap, you know. He spoke about addressing the plight of the missing middle and the TVET lecturers, cooperation or cooperative development and support, rural development support and township development support. We thank you very much, sir, for all those words. Who else was next now? It was the CFO. Very brief and to the point. He indicated the annual financial statement to us with special focus on financial position, financial performance, expenditure, disclosure, and audit action plan. He was emphasizing the automation and indicated that this must remain and continue to be the buzzword for us. Overall, what he was implying is that we are a healthy organization. Congratulations and thank you very much, sir. The audit chair, representing Auditor General South Africa, indicated that 2021, 2022, 23, 24, we attained qualified position, which is not acceptable. However, he gave reasons why we scored as such and indicated that we are beginning to perform much better comparatively. Queen Mama Bele addressed the question of the annual budget and business plan. putting emphasis on NSDP, second part of it, and gave us the general overview. She highlighted that we are the biggest Seta with 194 employers, and unfortunately 32,000 of them are paying levies, and that is 16%, and the rest are not, and we hope they will also graduate to be big and contribute as expected. The alignment of qualification was the issue that she spoke about, with special emphasis on e-commerce manager, franchise manager, and call center manager. Real estate is the in thing. They have something called timeshare, which you need to research and familiarize yourself with. And then came, who else? Who was next? She was the last. I don't have to go through all these things that she mentioned that are very important. You were here to listen for yourselves. But in conclusion, I would love to thank the following people, the organizers of this event. This event is lit. And the organizing team was led by Medudu Mwelaze. Congratulations, ma'am, and your team. The LOM Event Solution, these are the gentlemen that are controlling the sound system for us. They made it possible for us to be connected with the world. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I'm told there will be lunch after this. I would love to thank in advance the cook or the cooks. I hope the food is lit as well. And the people that will be reporting this event, the media, congratulations for coming and thank you very much. We hope for a positive reporting on this exercise. Thank you very much and God bless. The video team. Sometimes I'm too slow in the uptake. She is talking about the video. She says I must jive because the video is focused on me. I don't know. What did you say? There's a video that you like to play. You want me to give you permission? Oh, I'm the boss all of a sudden. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
No, but thank you very much for that. As I was saying, the people here are going to enjoy a lovely lunch. I see it's quite international. It says a lunch around the world. There's a Mexican dishes, there's Lebanese dishes, Italian and Indian dishes. And the dessert is very South African, koeksister, milk tart, and malva pudding. So please, all of us here, enjoy. For the people at home, while you're enjoying, watch the video. Thank you very much for coming. We are still going to enjoy whatever is happening outside. I mean, the makeup needs to be done and the goodie bags need to be collected. Thank you very much for coming to our AGM. I wish you all the best. God bless and see you next year. Thank you. I forgot, but we're too tired. No, but he did say all the seaters. Thank you.